It's Wednesday. I'm late. Surprise, surprise. Welcome to Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night. It's Outlaw Radio, power failure. That's right, power failure. You ever just felt like the lights was out, right? You ever felt like you were missing something wasn't working properly? That's where I'm sitting at right now. As a foundational Black American in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I feel that something is missing. I feel like we've been failed by our leadership, but we do this show so that we can have these conversations. Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the mayor of Chocolate City, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer. Often known in some circles as what Kamar likes to say, the original Negro Whisperer. The original Negro
Whisperer. The OG Negro Whisperer.
There we go. I like that. I have received that from you, right? Welcome to the show, my brother. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm well. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk, raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you who I am. The Black woman lover, the Black man's brother, the culture teacher, the hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama! There go the CMOS, man. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you. It's cold as shit outside. And you motherfuckers is getting sick, so make your way to the House of Vitality to get your elderberry, sea moss, detox, all that stuff that's going to boost your immune system. Come on in.
There we go. Support Black business always. When people talk about what solutions, what are the solutions? Definitely one of the solutions is to supervise your dollar as a foundational Black American and make sure a percentage of it. I don't know if we're in a position where all of it can go, to Black business, but a percentage of it should be dedicated to the preservation of Black business, right? So shout out to all Black businesses. Mondays, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time when I'm on time. To whenever we choose to cut the machine off. So for people who say, Kev, when does the show come on? It's Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. People say, how could I see it? If you miss it on a Monday or Wednesday, all the shows are archived on my personal Facebook page. We have an Outlaw Radio page. We have a People's Network YouTube page. We have a People's News Network Facebook group that you can utilize if you want to get in a conversation. But if you really want to be involved, we actually have a phone number, and that phone number is 262-202-5131. That is 262-202-5131. We also have a very interactive chat room, which always pops. Case in point, shout out to Ewok. He's in Arizona by way of the 414. He says, yo, my dogs. What it do, bro? How you doing, man? Kamar said it. It is cold. But we have a heat up. We have a warm up coming. And this is supposedly was the gist of our storms, our Arctic. Well, we're gonna get one, right? We're gonna get one. And they said by the weekend it'll be back up to 50 degrees. So hey, man, it's like anything else, man. If you just tuck in and stay warm and keep yourself tight, you'll be okay. And eventually the storm will blow over, right? So remember that. Words to live by. Power failure. I have some stories that I want to talk about tonight. And y'all, please share the show. Please share the show. And if you listen to the show, but you didn't catch it live, and you said, man, I wish I had been listening to this shit, I'd have said, hit the line, hit the phone number, hit the chat room, and tell a friend to tell a friend. I see a lot of people who I know listen to the show who don't share the show. Share the show. Put it on your timeline, right? You say you rock with us, rock with us. So everybody's in this political upheaval on a national level with President Trump. partisan politics. People are very divided right now. There's a very uncertain next 4 years, at least, politically. But we always say it starts at home. So locally, local politics. So in the city of Milwaukee, you have a mayor, a common council, county executive, and you have what do they call them? What do they call them? County executive. David Crowley is the county executive, and then his the other people are, I forget. Damn, I'm having a brain fart. The county, right? Somebody in the chat room, let me know. I know he's the county executive. So, and it's similar to the way you have a mayor, the president of the common council, and aldermen, right? County supervisors. Damn, county supervisors. That is the way our government is structured here. Okay, we have a very large public school system, $1.5 billion a year, governed supposedly by a school board in which the people, the representatives, are elected by us. They're elected officials. You vote for who you want to be on the school board. Okay, and then we have our police department and our fire department, and we have a fire, what is it? Fire police and fire commission, fire and police commission. That is supposed to be the governing board of that. I named those three organizations because you would think, like, right there, that represents all of that's it, right? Come on, that's our entire government. Law enforcement, the executive part of it, the city part of it, the aldermanic part of it. The common denominator is that they're all failing. They're all failing. You look at the city, and I know they like to say, hey, we're doing so well because violence is finally starting to drop. Homicide is starting to drop. We haven't quite gotten past the COVID levels, but they're starting to drop. So we're trending in the right direction, which is false. In the city of Milwaukee, economically right now, at least for us, don't get me wrong, I understand that this is a hotbed for out-of-state investors. There's a lot of real estate here that's being purchased right now by out-of-state investors. We know that gentrification is coming, so there's some money in that regard. But for us as foundational Black Americans, economically, Kamar, we haven't gotten better. The opportunities haven't increased. The median income hasn't increased. The poverty level hasn't decreased. So that tells me something is wrong. And I look at the leadership and I say, no wonder the community is fucked up. The whole city, the leadership is fucked up. Shit rolls downhill. And so I said power fail. I could have said power outage, but I like the intensity of the word failure. I think failure is a direct accusation. Instead of saying you messed up, if you say you failed, see how it got a little bit more punch to it. You're a failure. Not, it's gonna be okay. You're figuring it out too. You're a complete failure. Like, oh my God, why did you say that? I see in the chat room, Dion, he said, okay, I'm in the house. So I'm glad Dion's on the line because I posted a story in the People's News Network in regards to the housing authority in the city of Milwaukee. It's come out. It's been discovered. They actually are in debt to the city to the tune of $5.5 million. The other night, when I referenced the complete debacle that the housing authority has gone through, and I said, how could they allow the way to retire with a fat ass pension, okay, and a fat ass payout, and the feds are controlling one part. Then when you look at the other part, they were taking federal grant money to pay their staff, and I figured out why. I found out why. So I did a little bit. There's a little bit deeper dive to take on this, Kamar. So you find out that they actually owe the city. Not only did they take $2 million from the feds, they owe the city $5.5 million. Now you tell me he didn't know about any of this. Because my brother said, I don't think he really knew, Kev. He didn't know people had rats. And in addition, Kamar, to the settlement that they just agreed to, we don't know how much, for the people who lived in their development that had bed bugs. They just paid that. Now, if they owe the city, who you think that burden is going to fall on? Rhymes with bus. Us. I think he knew. I think he was part of the mismanagement. I think his lack of oversight and his leadership abilities are a direct result of this. I mean, this is a direct result of that. I'm not going to give him a pass. I don't know him personally, and this is not personal. This is business. It's his business. So if we move on over to the other, I talked about the mayor. What has the mayor done? Now he did a 2-year term, and then he won a full term. I believe this is year 2 of his first official term, or second term, right? 2.5 term, right? What has he done, Kumar? What has crime gotten better? Now we talk about the decrease in homicides, but there's still no answer for the reckless driving.
Oh,
There's still kids. There's still children. As a matter of fact, a 4-year-old was just shot Monday. A 4-year-old, and we have an epidemic of kids dying. Go ahead. You said you know what he's done.
Yeah, I just thought of something, man. He gave Snoop Dogg a day.
This is true.
You can't forget about that. He gave Snoop a day.
This is true.
He gave him a national day in Milwaukee.
Even if he didn't give it to him, he was
that's
there.
That's the best mayor we ever had. That's the best mayor we ever had.
And then Snoop didn't even stop by Juneteenth. He got the fuck out of Dodge, right?
None of that shit.
Right. So now, once again, this is one of those things I put out there because there are people who know more than me, surprisingly enough. There are a lot of people who are smarter than myself. If you are aware of something he's done, a policy he's brought forth, you can say, even if you feel like, okay, he initiated these bump outs, that has made the street safer. Has it? It looked like more people have crashed into the bump outs. Some of them, the bump outs are just torn. Just car parts, fenders hanging off of them. We still have a violent situation. We still have a situation where young people our young people are murking each other. I'm not putting this all on him. What I'm highlighting is that this has all happened continuously under his watch, and it was happening when he got here. I'm not letting Barrett off the hook, or Norquist, or Meyer, or whoever the fuck has been the mayor. But this has continued to happen profusely under his watch. So to me, power failure. I see no innovative programs. I really don't. I don't see social reform. I don't see an effort on his part. Like, I feel like he supports the Negroes that are here, and we know there's some name brand Negroes in Milwaukee. You know who you are. You know what organization you're a part of. And you're grandfathered in because you've been here. I feel like he supports them when they say, hey, come out. Excellent choice. Chance for you to take a picture. But I don't see him. I haven't seen him actively do anything. Now, I know he teased that there was going to be this. Once again, I told you every time, Kamar, we point this out every time it happens. If there's a situation where 2 or 3 people lose their lives, he shows up, and then within the following weeks, you're going to hear there's a new anti-violence initiative coming. And it's going to be probably 3 of the same dudes. Some of them retired now. So it'll be new dudes. They'll all be on the news. And they'll say, we're going to do this. Anti-violence is coming soon. But we want you as a community to be a part of this and take responsibility. The shit never happens. It never. What is it? Tell me. There's such a confused, like, you talk about 414 Life and what was the Office of Violence Prevention, and then it kind of separated, and then there was 414 Life, and I hear 414 Life is out there still doing big things. I hear they're still trying. But there's a split between what the city governs and what the college, the medical college, governs. And there's Reggie Moore on one side with one part of it, and there was Ashanti Hamilton who just stepped down. So once again, power failure. Now, please don't get me started on MPS. MPS. I got to give you one of these. Ooh-wee. See, you appointed a new superintendent. But who's on the school board? Because if the school board is the governing body, part of those missing millions or wasted millions or misplaced millions and the mismanagement falls on them as well. Because as the governing body, how often do they check up on things? Obviously, you ain't been to the office in a few months. If their excuses, the software we use for accounting is outdated and the office that does that is inexperienced and shorthanded, how does nobody on the school board know that? Somebody knows it. Power failure. Now, Milwaukee police. Now, the firefighters, I will never, ever, ever question any or say anything bad about a firefighter. I mean, the firefighter department. Because firefighters are some people that they do a job that I wouldn't do. You got to be a bad boy to jump up on that ladder and climb into a burning building. You got to be, listen, if the building on fire, I'm running from it. I'm not running to it. So so they seem like, and I know they probably have their issues, but the police department is all over the place dysfunctional. It is. Even still with their relationship with the community, right? And so it's power failure. And then Bobby Porter says, ain't nowhere to go in Milwaukee, ain't nothing to be dressing up for. Well, Bobby, not for you. You make $12 million a year to play basketball. No, you're going to get robbed. But you know what we do? What we look to you guys for, Bobby Portis and all those young brothers down there playing for the Bucks that are making all this money. Where is your community investment? Kamar, think about all them young brothers who play for the Bucks. If they said we're going to create, they can call it African American. You know, I don't identify as that, but they could call it that, an African American business endowment. And Giannis say, I'm going to put $500,000. And all of them say, you know what? I got in on that. They could open a club and have it set up where they could go there after the game. You can invest in the community and have small businesses that y'all frequent as long as you can make it safe. Where's your investment? Well, it's fun to watch y'all play basketball. But people say, well, NBA players they pay a higher tax. Because if you are an NBA player, I believe some years ago they passed, if you are an NBA player, you pay an extra tax here because of the money you make. But you should be. You should be. So I look at that too and say, power failure. Also, they struggling to hold on to the third spot in the East. So fucking power failure on the Bucks' behalf too. Kamari, unmute yourself. I know you was trying to put in, but you muted.
Well, you know, I mean, I was finna say, you know, like a lot of them players, like remember they're young too. You know what I mean? A lot of them coming in the league young. They don't have no clue on what to do with that money. You know what I'm saying? And then he got the immaturity to add into it. So it's all about me right now. You know what I'm saying? I think if it was a way to probably get some guidance in there, you know what I mean, to start guiding different rookies, like if it was some kind of black council that mentored the different rookies that come into, straight up, listen to me, hear me out. Like the mentor because see, I feel like this is the only way we can get it to that point. You know
I know.
I mean?
I'm only laughing because that was like the most generic name you could call it, the Black Council.
Right, the Black Council.
Did you see that on the T-shirt? Right, that shit is a gang right there, right?
The FBA Council. You
right,
know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like some brothers that can school these kids, that can talk to them, show them the route to go. You know what I mean? Brothers to say, look, if you into the community, this is something you should be thinking about here. You know what I'm saying? You got an opportunity right now where you could really bust some moves, you know what I mean, for your people and put your people in a better position. But you know what I mean? And then even still, it's about gathering a group of them that's like-minded to do it. You know what I mean? But then that's why I say I think it should be some kind of group that we can put together, FBA council or something. You know what I mean? To go in and school them like how they do. They do school the rookies. Only they just teaching them about schooling them on how to act and how to talk and all that type of shit. But just take it a little bit farther, and we do it because you know what I mean. We can't expect them white folks to teach them that shit.
To that I say, Giannis is a vet. Lopez is a vet. Middleton was a vet.
They said Middleton was doing a bunch of stuff in the community.
Hold on, because you said these, and there's some young brothers.
Right.
There's enough veterans on this team, especially an individual like Bobby Portis, who is a veteran, who's been around, who knows yada yada, right? Okay. So for him, I mean, you're saying there's nowhere to go, but it only takes for him as one of the OGs to say, man, let's see, there's no interest in doing that. And Kamar, the other thing I say is how much community involvement these brothers, some of these brothers is from the hood somewhere else. So they see it here. What are they doing in the community? This city is basketball crazy.
You know, I can't name everything, but I do know when Chris Middleton got traded, they was talking about how connected he was to the community here in Milwaukee. You know what I mean? That was one of the. Well, I could look it up. Give me a second. You know what I mean? But I forgot what I was reading about. I'm just saying I did hear about different stuff that he was doing. Like even on the news, they was talking about the different groups that's gonna miss him since he gone. You know what I mean? Out of the different projects. Okay. But give me a second. I'll find some stuff.
Breonna Taylor's in the chat room. She said, okay, I know why. You know why what, my sister? Welcome to the show, by the way. And Kamar, I'm not, so what I'm discussing is, and what I'm talking about is not necessarily, okay, I gave $10,000 to the Urban League, which is admirable. Or I started a scholarship fund. That's very admirable. But you know for a fact, just as well as I do, that we need boots on the ground in this city.
Well, see, and that's what I mean.
It's cool for you to give the money. It's cool for you to give the money, but to go into these trouble spots, to go into Marshall High School, to go into Madison High School, to go into Hamilton High School Tech and say, hey, let's talk. I'm not saying they don't do that sometimes. I'm actually saying it's not visible enough. I don't see it. And I don't follow them on social media either, so I don't know what they do. So, right. But I'm looking for.
But, you know, just to take it to another level, that's what I'm saying. Like a group of black folks that's really on that type of shit. Like, you know what I mean? You might got the veterans. They probably don't know either what to do. They just know to donate some money because that's all they was taught.
But they are cool. They are cool with the brothers here. There are some brothers here who, you know, own some bars and restaurants and some investments. There's some brothers here who have money. Like, okay, so G's Clippers, for example. I know at one point he had a very close relationship with the Bucks, right? Didn't he? I think he even had a barbershop in the new Fiserv, where he could, you know, they can get the haircut. Initially, he did. I don't know if he still has it, because I know at one point he had really jumped out the window and had this community wellness fitness center at his barbershop, but something ran afoul. I don't know if he broke bad with Bad News Barrett or what, but it didn't fructuate. It was an Umar situation, right? But I know there's relationships there, or there used to be. I don't know, because Giannis is not American. For all intents and purposes, Giannis is a tether. He's a double tether because he claims Greece, but he's from Nigeria and he lives in America. Damn, that's a triple tether. So, and once again, Kamar, we talk about people's philanthropic efforts, and I never want to be the one to hate on that. But what I'm looking at in our community is the need for all-in wholesale investment. I know the white boy Pat Connaughton was saying he's really in on investing. He's bought buildings and all of that. He's visible in their community. The Brewers, you think those Dominican Brewers don't go to the South Side? You think they don't support some of them events? They do. When the last time the Brewers went to North Division? When the last time the Bucks went? You know, AAU, Milwaukee has produced several NBA players over the years. AAU goes down. People love basketball. I don't see any of those brothers. And once again, if somebody out there is aware, please, lace me up, tie my shoes. Are the Bucks contributing anything? Should they be saying, hey, here's an investment? I'm putting this out here, y'all. I don't want anybody to think, oh, he's hating, or you know what I mean? Like, because I see in a time like this, I feel like, Kamar, we need all hands on deck. So whoever you are, if you're doing well, you should be contributing something to our community. Maybe it's your effort, maybe it's your time, maybe it's financial. Like you said, I'm sure Middleton had invested in some places, and somebody had come to him and got. I don't feel like that money's getting down to the trenches, though. I don't see it.
Hey, look, and again, that's why I say get a group of black people that's
Black
really
council.
on that shit. You see what I'm saying? That's where I was going with it. We get some people who know what they're doing, because these brothers going into the league, man, they ain't thinking about. Most of them ain't thinking about the community.
But what about the veterans that are
out the community? They happy they got out the community.
Doc Rivers played at Marquette. He's from Chicago.
Yep. Like I said, they happy they got out the community. And you know what I mean? And with no guidance on how to give back to the community to help some more people come up out of there like that.
The one thing that colleges do a very good job of now, when you're a star, Kamar, when you even if you go to a Power 5, like a D1A school, you're going to get media training, and you're going to get all kinds of in-services to tell you about these kinds of things, because a lot of them are tax write-offs. So I'm not going to say, yeah, you're young, and yeah, okay, but I'm talking about the veterans. But I do believe what you said has some merit in that. If there was somehow a connection between grassroots people and the corporate brothers and sisters here, the talented 10th, if you will, the boule, where they could say, hey, no, here's an excellent real estate opportunity for y'all to invest in this building. And this could be an exclusive clubhouse, members only, fully secured place for y'all to hang out at. Or a restaurant. Brett Favre played in Green Bay. He had Brett Favre Steakhouse. Who you think used to be at Brett Favre Steakhouse after the Packer games? Brett Favre and them. Everybody get on the bus. We headed to Milwaukee. I'm reading
where they talking about how he did a lot of charity work, right?
There we go.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it ain't really saying no monies that he put into the community and nothing like that, but he put a lot of charity work out there, like as far as the Hunger Task Force, and you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just saying he wasn't doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? But and then a lot of that shit the NBA make him do.
Right. So that's right, dude. I'm only laughing because it's funny how you sounded kind of deflated, because I think you felt like, oh, I'm finna find that this dude was doing big things. It's like,
no, remember earlier I said I ain't for sure exactly what he did. Remember?
I'm just saying. I feel like most
of it was probably just financial, you know what I mean, or charity work or something. But I'm just saying, like when he got traded, everybody, like, if you look it up, like, it's a bunch of different news clips talking about the charity work that he did. That's why I said I ain't found nothing about no financials that he put out.
Right. He did various charities. He worked with various charities across.
And a lot of that stuff, like I said, I feel like, you know what I mean, the NBA or the NFL, you know what I mean, they make them do that type of stuff. It's in their contract.
It's required. But it doesn't. And a lot of times it could just be just a drop in the bucket and what you say, a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, where I'm going to go over here. I'm going where they told me, basically. I'm not really getting to the problems that are needed. Like, I'm not going into the schools.
Well, he's doing his job. It's like
working with a literacy program, going to talk to black kids in need. Yeah, your job, I hear you, but I still feel like you have a responsibility. Because listen, if I had millions of dollars, right, and I was in a city, I would make sure I was in tune with the community in that city. I'd be talking to people saying, I don't want to just give you $2,000 to go on your charity. I actually want to go into these schools and talk to these kids. I want to go see ground zero. I want to go see what's popping. Or maybe you have no interest. You're like, fuck it, I'll just move to River Hills with my white girl. And that's fine too, man. More power to you. I just had to throw them in the fire with the power failure because I was on the roll. I felt like I was on the roll, Kamar. So I was throwing everybody shit. I threw the Brewers in there. Shit, I was looking for a way to get at the Admirals, but they all white, and I know they don't give a fuck anyway. So.
No, they don't give a fuck.
Right. So yeah, something very interesting happened. Over the weekend, and I know if people watch the show, you know about this. If you've been on Facebook, you live in the Podverse. If you're in the People's News Network, I've been sharing for probably the last 2 years a lot of live on the scene news footage. And it was always courtesy of my brother, DeAndre Lockhart, at Lockhart Media. And I shot him out. And actually, I bought my phone from him. He works in a cell phone store. I'm not going to say which one. But we've had some very long conversations about content creation in Milwaukee and communicating a message and getting premium black news to black people. I've shouted him out on the show many times. Kamar. Headlines at the beginning of this week was he had been arrested for failure to report, I believe, as a sex offender.
Right.
This story has layers.
Damn.
First of all, I want to say, well, if you've been convicted of, any kind of sexual case, like, you're found guilty, you then become what's known as a registered sex offender. So no matter where you live, you basically have to report out. And that's how, like, you can go online right now and figure out how many sex offenders live in your area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
right.
so, and I don't know, it doesn't say what the nature of the original crime was, just that there was obviously something there that warranted court conviction.
Like, nigga, you knew you was gonna get in trouble for not registering.
Even before that, though. They
gonna catch up. Well, yeah, I'm just saying at this point, nigga, before you get arrested, you done did the fucked up shit you done. But nigga, you know you're gonna get in some more trouble if you don't report.
If you don't report.
You know what I mean? Nigga, report. Dumbass, you did the shit already.
Let me say.
You should have thought about all that shit in the first place.
I don't know the nature. I believe from what I saw, people can manipulate paperwork now with AI. I understand that, but I believe that it involves something in conjunction to some sexual contact with a minor. Now, this can be a situation where you had messed with a young girl, but she had told you she was of a certain age and you believed her. Lo and behold, okay, I'm not making excuses. I'm also saying, and a lot of people don't know this, if you yourself are under 18, right? Say you're 17 and your girlfriend's 16 and you get her pregnant, you can be convicted of statutory rape because she's not old enough to give consent yet.
Hey, yep. I know a brother that he met his girlfriend. He was 16, she was 14.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed together, right? When he turned 18, he told me, like, dog, I'm kind of scared. You know what I mean? This was years ago. It was an issue back then when we was growing up. This has always been an issue. You know what I mean? Like, young brothers got to think about that. When you 18 and she's 17, if her parents get upset, nigga, you could catch a case.
Yes. Statutory rape is not even Kamar, it's statutory. There's
and
not
even
a trial.
And y'all been together for 4 years.
It's not even a trial. It's statutory.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All it takes is for her parents to get upset.
Yep. Yeah. And say he had sex with and she said he did. Yep. Your ass is ghost.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all that to say I don't know the nature of what his offense was, but I do agree with Kamar in that, dude, why won't you just report?
At this point, you got to report.
Even if you feel like, man, it's not like I'm a rapist or, I know how brothers get. Like, fuck that shit, man. Yep. I ain't even, well, he's out now, and I seen that he put a post up and he said that, people, he said people were trying to, knock him down off what he's doing because there are a lot of people who respect what he does in terms of him being on the scene. Because we get, especially in the People's News Network, a lot of times it's like real professional media quality. He's very good at what he does. But sometimes, and this is what we talk about, why it's important sometimes to be just a little bit more transparent. You know what I mean? Don't have this thing come back to bite you in your ass.
That's right.
Get out in front of it. And I'll see him again. I'm not going to say,
if that was me in that position, I mean, like, you got access to talk to people. Shit, throw that shit out there. Talk about it. Talk about your mistakes and shit. You know what I mean? Like, so now it can't come back and bite you in the ass, and then everybody got all kind of shit running through their head. Oh shit, he probably raped a woman, and you know what I mean? How the rumors get to going around the city and shit. People love that.
It's a tough.
I'm just saying. I feel like shit. If you're gonna be in the business or in the line of work to where you're gonna be in people's face like this, you know what I mean? To give everybody opportunity to talk about you, you got to air your own dirty laundry out before anybody else could get it, because that could sabotage everything.
To me, it's different though. With this, hold on, the times we live in right now. Now we talking about losing business deals. We're talking about not being able to advance. I would say the best way to do it is because there were people who are aware of what happened. Because I read in the comments and people were saying that they remember it, and I guess it's been brought up before, unbeknownst to myself. Right. He stated that he was fine, that he was going to keep doing what he was doing, and he's not really tripping on it. That's what his statement was. And so, like, I'll see him again. I'm not going to walk in there like, damn, cuz, like, for me, let this be a lesson, right? Let this be a lesson. Handle your business. Get out in front of it. But that whole rapist, sexual harassment, underage sex thing, Kamar, right now, that's one you don't want on you.
Like, even at this point, right? Like, I don't know the brother.
You see brothers coming out now talking about they shot somebody, they sold dope, they did all these things. But that underage, that Puffy, that P. Diddy.
Well, dig this perspective, right? Like, I don't know the brother personally. If I met him, this would be on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I will be questioning if I should have my daughter around.
And I don't.
I'm saying because I don't know him. You see what I'm saying? What? And this is why I say, like, if I'm gonna be a public figure and I got some shit like that in my background, I'm finna try to get this shit out here so can't nobody come back at me with it. So it can't just pop up like this. You know what I'm saying? And everybody start thinking what they want to think. And
maybe this is what this has done for him, though. Like now, maybe this is what this has done for him, though. Like now, can't nobody. The next time it come out, we be like, well, we knew that.
Either that, or nobody may not fuck with him no more. Because, like I said, I don't know what the hell was going on. He could have had a child. Hey, listen, he could have had a child at gunpoint or something. Is all I know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
That's my point. You know what I mean? If you don't know the brother,
Jeff Craig, what it do, man? How you doing? He said, "What up, Outlaw?" What's going on, Jeff? How you doing down there in Texas, man? What's up with you? Power failure on a Wednesday night, man. Look, once again, that's why I said I don't know what the nature of the crime is. I just know that he said he is out of jail. He put up a message, and once again, I will say my encounters with him have been in the cell phone store, and we conversed about our platforms because he knew who I was, and I knew who he was. I don't know him to be. I don't know his character, Kamar. Right. So, like you said, right, I get never. It's not like I'm not gonna take my daughter in there and be like, "Hey, this is."
Even at this point, I'm just saying, if I met him and my daughter around me, I'd be side eyeing him.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gonna side eye him if she ain't, because you wonder what the fuck did he do.
Well, yeah,
that's going through your head.
What I'm saying? Yeah, what the fuck did he do? And then I'm watching him to see if he's looking at my daughter.
He seemed cool, man.
Like I said, I don't know what's going on. Like, even at this point, I would be transparent.
He seemed cool. Very intelligent brother. Very knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
And our conversation was centered around the perspective of foundational Black Americans and information and content creating and like really giving people the truth. And doing this against the grain because neither one of us are part of the mainstream media.
That ain't got nothing to do with not liking kids.
Well, no, it don't. And that's what I'm saying. I had no inclination, nor would I've ever even thought to even, because my daughter's never with me when I'm in there, right? But I'm just saying, that wouldn't have been something I would have put on him. I wouldn't have said, yeah, dude he's a registered sex offender.
I wouldn't have thought it either. I mean, I don't think that of nobody until I find out about it.
Now I know.
Now I'm looking at him funny.
I'm gonna try not to. Look at him funny, Kamar. I'm gonna try not to.
Hey, man. I mean, I'm just saying, man, that's how it is.
It's getting close to time for me to upgrade my phone.
Hey, look, we just talked about being a snitch too the other day. If a nigga snitch, you find out about it, they come around, you're gonna be looking at them funny because you heard about this shit and you want to know what's happening.
Some of us would. Some of us would.
But you get what I'm saying again.
Now, is there any more developments with this? Because I know I've been in the Podverse once again, just hanging out, man. Trying to figure out. I just absorb information, and I was just listening. But you get at a certain after the news cycle first comes through, and then you get everybody just kind of redoing the same shit. So clickbait had you thinking something new was said, but you be like, I already watched this shit. And so the whole thing with the Big Meech thing is still people are saying this is some jacked up lies and that Meech is not a snitch. But the accusation in itself is enough to bring down the king. And that's what I'm saying about the whole thing with that registered sex offender thing. Because there are not many people who are going to, once they find that out about you, Kamar, it's just like both of us just said. Now, every time I'm around you, I'm like,
Right.
what is young Chester, the child molester, up to now? Like,
especially if Chester ain't explained himself. Because like you said, it could just be, like you say, it could just be like, you know what I mean? The motherfucker 18 and the other one 17.
Yeah.
We don't know the demonstration that went down, is what I'm saying.
Let's do what we always do. If you're out there and you know more about this than us,
right?
Please let us
call in.
Or be in the chat room, right?
Because I want to know. Because I want to know.
And I'm sure if you dug Kamar, if you can see cap anybody here. I'm pretty sure. Or even if you look at the sex offender registry, I think it does detail what the individual actually done. And so yeah, but I don't, when I see him, it's gonna be weird because I'm gonna be like, what up, bro? And I'm wondering if he's gonna look at me, knowing the nature of my platform, knowing that we give it straight up. I wonder if he's gonna just come forth with it, like, man, I know you seen that bullshit.
That stuff on the news, bro.
Yeah, man. What's happening? Why they come at you like that?
Hey, I see they jammed you up.
Yeah, you can slide into it like that. Like, yeah, man, what was up with that bullshit? That's my way of saying you a pedophile.
How about this? Hey, man, I saw you on the news the other night. The volume was down. I couldn't hear what it was about, man. What was going on?
Well, this was on Facebook, so I definitely read it. So I can't.
How about this? Hey, man, I saw you on the news.
I read it, Kamar, so I can't say that. The phone is working, Dion. Jeff Crape said it's cold as fuck in Texas. Now, Jeff, what's cold in Texas? Because it was negative 15 here the other day.
What's cold? Right. You talking to people in Milwaukee.
Right. What's cold? If you say 50 degrees, I'm on my way to Texas. We gonna wrestle.
I would definitely rather have your cold than our cold.
I don't know, because they sometimes get hit with the ice and whatnot, and it's worse down there because they can't. He said 32. I'll take 32 right now.
Man, see, that's what I'm saying. I'd rather have your cold than my cold.
It's like probably 2 degrees outside right now, with windshield factor, as they call it. Windshield factor. He said, I hear you. He said he got first world problems. What are first world problems, Jeff? Please elaborate. Yeah. Let us know.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Lockhart, man. I hope God, I hate to see black people.
It might just be some bullshit.
I hate for black people to lose, like, because once again I think the brother does incredible work.
Right.
He does, man. It's like first class. Like, this is how cold this brother is. Remember when there was a standoff down on Hampton with the young brother who allegedly murdered, I guess, a 66-year-old, and he was held up in the building, right? And he jumped out the window and ran. He actually ran right towards Lockhart. I said, man, you was literally.
Oh, that was him filming it.
Yeah, he's the brother's dope, man. It's dope what he does. Somebody in the chat room said, what happened to JC Lee Scott? Said it snowed in New Orleans 2 weeks ago. First of all, welcome to the show, my brother. Are you from New Orleans? You're from New Orleans? It's been snowing.
It snowed all over the South.
Yeah, and it's froze. It flooded and froze in Detroit. The cars flooded. It froze in the street.
Man, that's crazy, wasn't it?
That's crazy. Jeff says no infrastructure to handle ice here. That's what I was saying. Like anytime you're in the South, when it snows like that, my experience is that people just they don't know how to. It's not there, and the roads are just horrible. I'm sorry. She said, yeah, I'm a sister, and yes. What happened? I'm sorry, my sister. She lives in New Orleans. I'm sorry. I did not know. Never. She's like, people be like, you called me a dude. No, I didn't. I never know. Welcome to the show. Please share the show. Appreciate you stopping by to chop it up with us on a Wednesday evening. It's Outlaw Radio Power Failure. But yeah, man, weather is crazy all over. But once again, just being born in Milwaukee and raised in Milwaukee, I'm so used to winter. Come on, I've never lived anywhere where it was hot year round. I've only lived in places where we get winter time. So, once a certain month hits, my body pretty much says, okay, you know what's finna happen, right? Like, it's like how the dog grow thicker fur. And you're like, uh-oh, winter coming. Look at the dog coat. I guess I'm kind of like that, right? I just can sense it. Jeff says, no plows, no salt is different. I can imagine. No plows? That's nasty work. That is nasty work. No plows. Come on, man. Fuck, I'm gonna get to work. And no salt. I mean, it's not, you would think they would have a stockpile because they've had issues before. Remember a couple years ago when the power grid collapsed because it snowed in Texas? Was that Houston? People who had left Milwaukee was making fun of us.
I remember that though.
Yeah, people like who had left here said, it's 85 motherfucker in Texas. Look at me. I know y'all cold. And then it was ice and the power grid collapsed. And they was like, please send money. I was like, oh my God.
That ain't funny, man.
It ain't funny, but every time somebody moves to somewhere that it's warmer, and they want to troll us, those of us who still live here. And they want to say, yeah, well, it was how cold is it there? And we say, oh man, it's 14 degrees. It's motherfucker, it's 85. And then it'd be a hurricane or some shit. And they'd be like, oh, I've been without power for 2 weeks. I'd be like,
something like the people something like I've been seeing a lot of videos with a lot of women talking about, a lot of women and men actually talking about the EBT stuff, the EBT getting cut off or got cut off or some shit like that.
Okay.
And, it was a bunch of motherfuckers before making videos about how much EBT they getting. Like, I get $3,200 a month. I got all this EBT. Look at me, I'm balling. We got all kind of shit. They showed a picture of a boy with grocery bags all over the kitchen floor, and he just fall in them like it was a motherfucking little ball thing or some shit. Like, come on, man. But then now they on the internet, they got a lot of the same ones, right? I've been seeing videos where there be somebody from before, the same person on there crying now. You know what I'm saying? Talking about they can't do that. They out of order. You know what I mean?
Well, the biggest news this week is that the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, and this kind of connects to what you're saying, has basically trimmed the fat, and they're giving Trump all of this credit because they've gone in and they've said the government has been crazy stupid with the way they waste money, right? And I wanted to talk about that tonight. I know what they said about Social Security, and this is the problem with Trump. You can just tell us the truth. You don't have to lie. Like, you don't have to make shit worse than it is. If it's bad, it's bad. So there are some people
Nigga,
who
you
are
spent $15 million to go to the Super Bowl.
there are people who are deceased who receive Social Security mistakenly. That has happened. And I'm pretty sure there's some fraud in there somewhere. But they said hundreds of millions of people. There's 120-year-olds. There's a lot of people who are 120 years old. Millions of them getting Social Security, and that's just not true. It's just not true. Now, I am for the exuberant government spending being eradicated. I can say that. I'm looking at this, Kamar, and I'm saying, okay, now that y'all done figured it out, what y'all gonna do with that bread? I want to know that first. I do have Dion on the line. Dion, what's popping with you, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Just sitting back, listening this BS about what you call the government efficiency or whatever, Department of Government.
The DOG.
Them guys they stumble across $57, and they be like, well, somebody was overpaid, you know. And I bet you it's thousands of white people, because I went on there and put it was thousands of white people probably still getting death benefits from their family. And it could be from a spouse. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like if you marry and your spouse died, sometimes they join y'all pension or Social Security. I forgot how that worked, because they did that when my grandmother died with my grandfather. But
with a pension, but not Social Security. A pension, yeah, your spouse can draw your pension, but not Social Security.
Oh, okay. Well, ain't no telling with these people. Did you see in the People's News Network where I shared that about Kamala, where they said was some shit going on in Nevada with them changing the vote?
I seen the post, but I didn't get a chance to read it over because I was looking more at all of the exuberant, crazy spending that our government had. I'm not blaming Biden. I'm not blaming Democrats. I'm saying I'm not blaming Republicans. I think this has always been the case. I think both parties are guilty of the wasteful spending. Years and years ago, what did we find out? That the Air Force One plane had these super expensive toilet seats. Like, we've known for a very long time that the government spends wastefully. But I think it's a good idea.
Go to the Super Bowl. Can't beat that.
Well, that's wasteful spending too, right? That's
what I'm saying. You can't beat that shit. $15 million to go to a football game. God damn.
But this money that they're finding allegedly is in the billions. I think they said $8. Now they may be lying. $8 billion so far. What is the validity of this? And once again, what you gonna do with the $8 billion that you've trimmed? You're talking about reducing the IRS. So is it now you're gonna create your own taxation system, or he's saying he wants to eliminate income tax? These are the things they're saying.
On Social Security.
Okay.
Yeah, on Social Security. I'm like, I didn't even know Social Security was taxed.
I was just finna say that. I don't even think Social Security is taxed. My father's wasn't.
Well, shit, that shit might be finna be gone.
It's looking like it's gonna be gone.
So, because what's his name? Elon Musk. He in there now.
Well, he's the head of the Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, I was just watching it today. They said he got access now. You know what I mean? And now it's unknown. They was talking about how many years Social Security checks came out on the right day at the same time, and now it ain't the same.
Well, also, too, it might be bad to say, but it's a necessary sentence. It might be time to do this. It might be time, Kamar, to say, let's look at the numbers. How can this is all super secret? Now, I don't know if we're turning the access over to the wrong individual, but everybody should be audited. Look, we just talked about MPS. We just talked about Hackem. Audits. Let me go back. Let me go back a second, too, because I want to say this. I want to talk about Hackem for a second again. Wow, because I got Dion on the line now, live and in color. Jeff,
so I heard what you were saying.
Well, hold on. I got some more. I got some more to add to that. Jeff said, check this out, fam. We had wholesale electric traded on the market. You went from 10 cents a kilowatt hour, and then it went to $50 a kilowatt hour. When you bought electric wholesale, you had no control market. We can holler on the side. It ain't as simple as you think. it was a plot to a ploy to put the little guys out of business, and it worked. You're talking about why your power grid failed. Okay, because we alluded to that. So check this out. So this is what happened with Hackham, right? Years ago, there was a transition in which Hackham would be basically released from being a city department, right? But they allowed the Hackham employees to still have access to certain data systems and earn some of the benefits. Because I know when I worked for Hackham, we were looked at as city employees, even though I wasn't directly. I got all the benefits of a city employee, right? Now, the agreement was that they were supposed to pay, I guess, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year back to the city for whatever people. So if our payroll came out of the city, then they said, okay, well, you got to pay that back at the end of the year. And after a few years, they just stopped paying it. And nobody was paying attention to it. And so Hackham basically was taxing the city. They was paying their staff. Now, here's the funny part. If you're paying the staff off city money, the city's paying your staff and you're not reimbursing them, what are you doing with the federal money that you're using to pay your staff? They just reported that. So I ask a question again. How is Hines not retroactively charged for some sort of conspiracy of, especially when you had the feds in there saying the way this office is being run is borderline fraud? I believe they just brought in a consultant company from Arizona or somewhere like that, and people were up in arms saying, well, how can they don't know nothing about Milwaukee? And okay, so that is why they end up owing the city $5.5 million. That makes up, I think, $4 million of it. And then there's some other costs that they incurred from the city. So this makes the mismanagement even worse, Kamar. You fucking everybody. You fucking the city. You fucking the government. You fucking the people. They got bed bugs in their ear. Power failure. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. But he was allowed to skate. And you have, if I was the mayor, I'd have a press conference. Like, this is ridiculous. They'd be like, Mayor passionate in his speech about what happened. And I'd be like, they're going to pay us our money? Like, I would have made a statement. This dude just said, hey, well, things happen. I'm kind of sorry. This dude is.
But can I ask you a question, though, Kev?
You can.
I'm looking at this about Willie, right? And you talking about, first of all, I'm confused on how, like, do the city of Milwaukee own anything they got their name on? Because the Housing Authority City of Milwaukee, ain't that an entity of the city of Milwaukee?
That's what I was just saying, Dion. You got to pay attention.
Okay, all right, now listen. So now I'm looking at Willie as
I wanted to answer your question. I wanted to answer your question.
Oh, go ahead.
It used to be a city department.
Mm-hmm.
The city of Milwaukee has long said we don't want to be in the real estate business. That's why cities that are foreclosed from tax seizure, they sell them as fast as they can because they have to assume the responsibility and the upkeep and all this kind of thing. They don't want to do that. So they said, okay, well, we're going to kind of pass you along. You're going to be your own organization and you work with HUD and the federal government for the funding you need. And that's going to be the transition plan. So they used to be, but I think it was 2011, in which they said, okay, well, now you all are not a city, but we're going to allow you to exist as one as long as you reimburse us for your costs at the end of the year. So you charge the city, say you charge the city $700,000 for your payroll, right? And the city say you owe us $700,000. You got to give us whatever. You got to reimburse us. Well, after a while, what happened is somebody in the city stopped collecting that money at the end of the year. So they was doing this, existing as a city department for years. So they used to be. So that's to answer the question. I just want to answer.
Okay. But I look this out. Now, I'm not saying Willie probably didn't know what's going on, but I'm just looking at it like a pyramid, right? You got somebody at the very top of the pyramid, the bricks get smaller, and at the bottom is a bunch of them. So he got people underneath him, you know what I'm saying, taking care of. He just the head, like the face. Now, I don't know. Maybe he did know everything that was going on. I mean, maybe somebody brought it to his ear and it went on deaf ear. He like, fuck that shit. I'm here to get a paycheck. Somebody else handled that shit, passed the buck on, and the buck just kept getting passed on. to maybe a whistleblower, you know, because
Well,
if the shit
don't
been
that make
going
him a
on for
horrible leader though? For him to do that, doesn't that make him more than horrible as a leader? Just to like you said, pass the buck. That makes him egregious, doesn't it? That's
to keep it real,
dereliction.
bro,
That's dereliction of duty.
When you get in those type of, you don't give a fuck about the people no more. You just there to get that money, that couple $100,000 a year, get that pension.
It's funny how you
that's real shit though.
This the federal government. It's on Fox 6. It's on every major news outlet. The federal government is auditing your office, and you saying he didn't know about it.
Once the feds stepped in, yeah, he knew about it.
They had an investigation for years before they decided to take over. This ain't just started.
Yeah.
This is 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah, he probably just didn't really care. Motherfucker probably just told him keep his head down.
Okay.
In a few more years, you'll be able to retire.
I wonder will he care? I wonder if will he care if when that lawsuit comes. There should be.
I don't think they could personally sue him.
I think
they'll probably sue the city of Milwaukee.
I think the city of Milwaukee can sue him and the housing department. When you sign your name on that dotted line as the head of an organization, you are assuming some liability. If that organization gets into some situations where they got to pay out, that's under your watch, and you usually don't get to retire. Your ass usually get fired. But because there's cronyism in his partner, little buddy downtown, he basically gave him a pass. It's a player pass on some street shit. Yeah. Oh man, cuz I ain't gonna do you like that. Check this out, bro. Just take your little bread, step down, boom, boom, boom. I'll handle the rest. I get the overlay for the underplay. I'm just saying this is a power failure. This is another example of the leadership or the so-called leaders in our community failing us. Name one organization here. SDC it was closed down. It's just coming back. The NAACP has had to go to court to figure out who's going to be the leader. Everything that's supposed to be shaken is shaken. You see what I'm saying? That was my point.
Yeah, I see what you said.
That was my point.
I mean, it's just. I look at it like that shit is like, to keep it real, like, and you know, the housing authority, whatever. But some of that shit, to me, in my eyes, is be by design. And you know, I don't even know how I could word it, but I'm just saying by design with the school system. Anything that has something to do with black people, you know what I'm saying? They'll put a nigga in charge, accuse him of every goddamn thing it is, but the whole time it be failing, and it's just bullshit from the school system, goddamn police department, like you say, Chevy with the crime that's going on, Willie with the housing authority of the city of Milwaukee, and no bullshit, bro. Like I said, we both live in a poverty. Like I want to put some shit on the People's Network. Memphis going through the same shit with their school system that we going through with up here. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find a superintendent. So, as far as in the black community, they just fuck us over. You know what I'm saying? They don't want no leadership that's there to try to hold people accountable, because then shit'll be looking like, well, you know, these niggas can run an efficient government. So they put people up in there. Is they be like, oh, he's just a talking head. Like, look at Chevy. Like you say, he lied so much, he stuttered through his whole goddamn news, through his whole news press conference. You know what I'm saying? So they just want to fuck us over any way they can with our lead in our water, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
I just think that once we put somebody who is, they look like us, right? There's melanin. I feel like we fall asleep at the wheel a lot of times because we just be like, oh,
that's true too.
It's a black dude in office. It's all good, without understanding that black people will fuck you over too. Like, I mean, you know, there's an element of with us that's what they.
You know what's funny? I just thought about something. He said, "I ain't got nothing for you, black people." Pretty much, we didn't believe him. We thought he was lying. Trump said, I'm mass deporting motherfuckers. They didn't believe him. And it bit them in the ass too. Some of this shit, maybe we need to be listening to these politicians.
We switching up because now you're talking about Trump. We were talking about the mayor, but if as far as Trump goes, since you transitioned to it,
that's why I said politicians.
Right, but I wanted to ask
Dion. Remember a long time ago, Obama was saying he ain't doing nothing for black people. I know you was talking about the mayor, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes these politicians say shit, and like maybe we should be believing some of this shit.
What did Chevy? Has he ever even said anything? Come on.
Well, no, I ain't talking about him. I just brought up Obama and Trump and saying like those are two situations that they said something, but we didn't believe them.
Chevy did say, "I'm not the black people's mayor. I'm everybody's mayor." He did say that. Did say that. And you know when they say that, that means niggas, you ain't got nothing coming.
But okay, so then whose mayor is he? What is he doing?
I don't think niggas voted him in.
Like you said.
Okay.
I don't think niggas voted him in.
Chevy?
Wasn't nobody going out to vote. Yeah, when he got in office, niggas wasn't going out to vote. Remember? Didn't he come in that 2020 year?
They voted in the last election. When he just got reelected, because he came in the middle.
Well, no, I'm talking about when he first got in. Say what?
No, they voted overwhelmingly for him then too. He's dominating. Yes. Because first of all, he's a Democrat. And this is not a partisan politic thing, but black people vote democratically, like just to keep it a buck. And that's what I'm saying. I see now a lot of people, and I try to stay away from partisan politic thought. Like I don't even want to adapt to the ideology of partisan politics, because I feel like a lot of people become programmed by their party affiliation. Like I see people who are so passionate about whatever political party they're affiliated with that it don't even make no damn sense. Man, like, how can you be that dead ass about being a Democrat or a Republican? Like,
yeah, nigga, I thought we was cool.
Right. Like, what are you crashing out, as they say? Like, what the fuck? So when I look at something like the DOGE, I want to ask Dion, because I know we are all anti-Trump on this show. I think we can agree with that. This is not a pro-Trump platform. It's not a pro-Republican platform. It's not a pro-Democratic platform. It's a pro-foundational Black American platform. So whatever's good for us as a people, not just a few of us, as a whole, that's what we're supporting. But the need to go into our government and say, what the fuck is y'all doing with all this money? Because this is taxpayer money. And because we don't like Elon Musk and we don't trust him, I don't trust him because, first of all, he's a South African. I will never trust a South African. I don't care what happens. I'm programmed not to like South Africans, white ones especially. And so, but is the DOGE a good idea, Dion? Do you think it could be good for it? Do you think it could have any positive effect on our government?
No.
Okay.
And I think maybe because I don't like dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just, like we're like the wasteful spending. Okay, like you said, they finding all this money. So what they gonna do with it?
What you gonna do with it?
Is they sending it back to the taxpayers?
Well, you know what I'm saying? Think about the title of the office, because words mean something. Government efficiency. I don't think people really, because we love we love things that have initials and all kinds of acronyms. People just say DOGE now, but it's Department of Government Efficiency. That means this is a department that is supposed to make sure that our government is being operated efficiently and the money is going where it should. What we want to know is what y'all gonna do with it. When you find it, what you gonna do with it? What is our?
Well, I know every time I see Jasmine Crockett, she finding some other shit. That Doge, they coming up with all this bullshit. Like shit, Elon Musk shit. The government paying him $8 million a day.
Right.
Ain't nobody saying nothing about the $150 billion.
Wait. He got a deal. Now, Trump supposedly did a business deal with him. Let's make sure we're clear about where the $8 million or whatever it comes from, because he signed a deal for what? It just has something to do with some of his
the military vehicles, the Salton Army, the military electric Hummers, not Hummers, but electric military vehicles. So whatever type of military vehicle, I don't know if it's gonna be cyber trucks or armored cyber trucks or whatever. But yeah.
So they haven't paid. They haven't paid him yet. But this, because they shouldn't be paying him $8 million a day if he ain't even made the trucks yet.
Yeah, it seems like he getting wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Wealthier.
Somebody let me know about. I like to know the details of that contract because I hate when people just say shit for sensationalism. Like, we paying him $8 million a day, and then you say, for what? And they be like, that's what they said. And I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm just saying I need to know. I need to know the details of it. But no, I get it. Once again, I just said, Dion, I think it's my dislike for him just because he's South African. Like, I'm just like, I don't like, he looks creepy. He seems like a mad scientist. He seemed like a James Bond movie villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole shit looks like he gonna be on the island somewhere with a giant laser gun and James Bond gonna have to go in there and kill this motherfucker, right? But the idea of making our government efficient is a hell of a concept. You think about what just happened here in Wisconsin. Y'all know Wisconsin invented the income tax, right? There's a lot of states that you don't have to pay income tax in. State income tax, right? Like, they invented that. And we just found out. Is Vegas one of those places too?
I think so.
Okay. I know Wisconsin innovated that. That was something Wisconsin kind of came up with. And so here's the deal. We got to this thing where there was a fiscal cliff with the city of Milwaukee, correct? And we needed some saving. And so we had to turn to Madison. Now, Madison is the capital of Wisconsin. Milwaukee's the largest city. We generate the most tax revenue, but Madison's the capital. They get the tax money. They said we have a surplus of billions of dollars, a couple billion. Milwaukee had to go and basically borrow money back from Madison with stipulations attached to it. As opposed to the maybe if the mayor said, you know what, nah, we need to know exactly what, and I'm sure he did, but I want to audit. Let's see, let's make this more efficient. They have no interest in that because we all get to fuck the taxpayer over it. They won't never notice it's gone. So it's a good idea to have an oversight committee saying, hey, what's really going on here? Where's the money really going? When I look at a state that Milwaukee is the biggest kind of tax base, but you're putting Amazon and Microsoft and all these things, these places are being built outside of Milwaukee. Why wouldn't they be adjacent to Milwaukee? Why wouldn't there be an emphasis on that? Is it because that's the southeastern corner contains 80% of the people of color in your state? And God forbid that region blow up like it once did. Milwaukee had too much power. So if we had a Department of Government Efficiency to go in there into Madison and say, y'all spending what on what? Ain't this a bitch, Kamar? Like, I'm just saying, maybe this is not a bad idea. Once again, I don't trust Elon Musk. I don't trust him.
The $8 million is from government contract for his program, SpaceX.
SpaceX, okay. So the government has invested in SpaceX.
Yeah.
And they're paying him $8 million a day?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I have to see. It's hard for me. I got to see it. And I'm not saying it's not what you're saying ain't true, Dion. You know me.
Man, watch something come up and Elon Musk got something for these airplanes. Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, we just hit that the other Monday. We just hit that.
It's coming, man. It's coming. Watch.
Well, that's another thing.
I didn't know he was doing some shit in outer space. That really made me feel confident that I said.
Oh, he's been doing it. He's been had SpaceX. That's been one of his projects for years. SpaceX, right?
Yeah.
Trying to create commercial travel into outer space. You want to fly to the moon?
So come back. Why not have something? Why not be invested in these airplanes?
Well, we're gonna take it over.
That's got some date, man. That shit's connected, man. That's where I think it's leading to, man.
But I would tell you what, if it does come down to that, and we find out that lives have been sacrificed for you to get a government contract, it should be some motherfucking problems. And see,
It
okay,
should
so
be. Hey, it
and,
should be,
and
but you know, it's been.
this
I
is
was
what
gonna say it should be. My
no,
bad.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Well,
I was gonna say it should be
Ewok was saying the other night that you and I kind of blew off Project 2025, right?
right, which was no, right.
I
Which
don't
was,
think
I
it
think that
wasn't.
was, I
It wasn't
think that
accurate.
was an overstatement. I
Well,
think that was an overstatement. You know what I'm saying?
what I was saying was I felt like no matter what happened, and if you go back to the shows and listen, I felt like the power is always going to end up in the hands of the people. That's what I kept saying. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that this existed and Trump was going to enact it. But I was just like, well, you know what? We're gonna have to deal with that shit when it happens. If it happens, that was my perspective.
Right. I said it may be some kind of fear tactic, got us all scared, running around talking about this shit, arguing with each other and everything. But me, on the other hand, I ain't gonna worry about it. I said, I ain't gonna worry about something until something happens. You know what I mean? If something
I'm
happens
worried
that
about it
affects
now.
me, if something affect me, you know what I mean? And then that's when I'm gonna have to figure something out. Because at this point, everybody that's telling me about this shit ain't got no solutions. So I might as well figure it out when it hit me.
I'm worried about it now because there's ripples. When you do something, it has a ripple effect, right? And I feel like the ability for us to get some blowback from some of the things he's doing is tremendous. Like a lot of people don't understand what these tariffs and like the economy is what we call a global economy. It's not the same as when America was the top dog because of the auto industry. And what happens was there's a labor deal with damn near any and everything that you wear, eat, drive, sleep on, sleep in, clean up with. There's always something because this is a country where we have what we call our GDP, our gross domestic product. And it's basically about imports and exports. Are we going to do business? I'm going to sell you this. You're going to shop with me and I'm going to buy this from you. I'm going to shop with you. You see what I'm saying? To put it in street terms. I'm going to shop with you. You're going to shop with me. So you got the dope. I got the weed. I'm just making up some metaphors. And once I say, nah, if you ain't from my neighborhood, it's a tax on everything I'm doing. And then that person says, okay, you going to tax me? Well, guess what? I'm going to start taxing you too for what you buy. Or some of my friends' neighborhoods say, oh, well, we taxing you too since you taxing cuz. The bottom line is the cost of everything goes up on both sides. It costs more money to play. It costs more money to pay. And so my concern now is they're going to fuck around and bankrupt a lot of organizations with what they're doing. And so we're talking about people who go and work and they might not even understand the impact of what they do, because a lot of people work in a warehouse, Kamar, where they don't know what's in the boxes they load. You ask a lot of dudes, where you work? I work this warehouse. What y'all do, man? We make parts or something.
Hell yeah, I don't even know what I do at my job, to be honest. People be like, what you do? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I drive this semi-truck. Where the fuck
you'll start to care when you find out that what you was hauling, the price of it just went up and your company went out of business.
Oh, yeah.
You find out what the fuck you was hauling then. And so I'm worried now that this is going to cause some hysteria to a certain degree, because people ain't going to be able, and see, I think the misnomer is they think it's only going to be poor black people that are affected. This is going to affect a lot of blue collar white people too. And you know what white people do when they get upset or when they win a hockey championship, right? They going to tear some shit up. So is this the point where we say, Kamar, this is going to be a civil war again, but it's going to be white people versus white people?
It's going to be white people versus white people. And I've been seeing on social media where a lot of black people have been saying, we got to sit this one out. It's time for white people to step up and march and get outraged. And we got to sit this one out. This ain't got nothing to do with us. We did our part. We voted for who we wanted up in there. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bull.
They clowning their own people. They're clowning their own people. That's why it's going to be a civil war. Some people with Trump and some white people ain't. You know what I mean? We ain't even a factor in that decision. You know what I mean? As far as that, like, that's gonna be them banging on each other. Ain't that what the Civil War was about?
That's what I was about to say. The Civil War was white people versus white people. We just got in that shit. Like
straight up. We just the consumers in products and shit.
And there'd be a lot of black people who would jump in on whatever side to fight. Because that's how we are. We riders.
Right.
So you say, fuck it. I'm fighting for.
Well, we need to just get this out, and we need to be learning how to live with each other.
Oh my God, that's what the delineation movement is.
That's what we need.
That is what the delineation movement is. That's why it's so great that it comes about at a time when it's very important for us to say, all right, hey, y'all come on in. Hey, y'all close that door.
The delineation movement is about solutions.
For us.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. It's about solutions. And that's what I'm all about. Every show, I find myself talking about everybody complaining, but ain't nobody giving no solutions.
Well, you got to live.
That shit is fucking frustrating me. That's why I be getting frustrated sometimes.
Even a solution is going to take time to implement, though. So what you going to do until it comes to fruition? Like, there's a learning curve.
What's the next step? We got to work on the first step. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's all we can do is work towards it. It ain't gonna never happen if we don't. One step at a time. One step at a time.
What you learned today?
Today, I learned this, and I never thought about it. I was listening to, you know, I'm in the Powerverse, like you always say. I learned that we should be studying the Reconstruction because that was a blueprint. Reconstruction was a blueprint. And they said something with W.E. Du Bois. He had some type of 10-point program where it was talking about education, self-defense, and I didn't catch the other ones. You know what I'm saying? They say he died before he can implement it. But I'm going to go online and find out what it is.
He forsake his U.S. citizenship. Didn't he die in Africa? He left America. He was disgraced. Once he worked with the government. He conspired against his own people, and he was discovered. And so he got frustrated because at one point they put him in a military position, a capacity to work with troops. And he observed firsthand how the troops, I believe it was World War I, how the black troops were treated. He saw it, and he was part of that office that said, okay, you handle the Negroes. And so he was so appalled by it that he relocated. He may have come back to the U.S. shortly before he passed, but he at one point had moved to Africa and went over there.
Yeah, well, if he had a point plan that we probably can emulate or take pointers from, there's nothing wrong with reading it. You know what I'm saying? Because when old girl said that, it made me always think about what Kamari said. Well, we know about it. What we gonna do? So that's shit. See what they did in Reconstruction. So I'm reading that. You know what I'm saying? How they was able to form, because some shit gonna happen. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That's what I was saying the other night. Motherfuckers need to start stacking up on water, toilet tissue, non-perishables like oatmeal, canned goods, whatever you can just, even if it's 30 days worth or 3 months worth, just have it. Because some shit is going to happen because these motherfuckers, it's going to be an unrest in the United States because dude is doing too much shit and fucking a lot of shit over. And like you guys were just saying, you know, what's the next step? You know, are people going to take this land down, or motherfuckers going to be like, hey, motherfucker, we going to storm the Capitol again. So sometimes, like you said about that movie Civil War, sometimes motherfuckers can predict some shit that happened before it happened with these movies, and that could be the case right there. The only thing I can tell us is just try to be prepared and don't get caught off guard. That's one way we could try to do it, where we won't be like, and then like they was talking about for you, by you, which is February, which is for us to buy from black, you know, try to find us some black-owned business. And we know, like when me and Courtney was talking, that certain black businesses don't have the capacity to maybe get stuff to us as quick as possible. But if we can try, you know, like my big thing was toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? I won't, you know, if I buy Angel Soft toilet tissue. So who can I find to buy toilet tissue from, or maybe some soap or toothpaste, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, you know, because, you know, February 28th, everybody, you know, I don't know how collective it's going to be, but we supposed to be not spending no money nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Even with these Arab motherfuckers, they probably went out there and supported Trump too. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, don't just chill. One day where we just, everybody just sit back and chill. I ain't going to hurt. Like I could buy shit tomorrow and you know,
But
the only
Dion, I kind of feel like you didn't answer my question either, though.
about what?
These audits and these departments of government efficiency and going and seeing where money is wasted at and trimming the fat, and even in some cases removing things that are in the hiring process that kind of seclude people who are really qualified to give somebody who's unqualified a chance. Are these all bad things? Now, hold on. Let me catch my chat room before you answer, because I want to give you a second to think about it. Let me get the chat room. I see Jermaine Anderson down in Louisiana said hello. He said they laying off 600 federal employees. He said, whoa, he got a lot of comments. Hold on. He said, Trump is firing so many workers. He said, this is a disgrace. We're in a national crisis. It's crazy when people go a sentence at a time with their comments. We too separate in the black community. That's funny though, when people sometimes be in the chat room and they don't just put it all in one paragraph and it'd be like 15 and each one would be a sentence. Like, we need unity in the community in 2025.
You know, you write something come to your head, you write it down, and then you think of something else after you push send.
Twitter fingers. Okay, so Dion, back to what I just asked you, because we know that our government has been, our economy shows that there was a certain amount of stability, but it was all kind of like teetering on failure. It was a castle built on sand. Some severe changes needed to be made with our government. Now, could any of these things, these ideas he coming up with actually be something that's beneficial to the way we govern ourselves?
Well, I'll look at it like this. Yes and no. Yes, because if they're going to refund some of that money to us and lower our taxes, you know, then yes, it's beneficial. But if this is going to be the same old thing and we're not going to reap any benefits from it, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they going to do what they going to do anyway. You know, first they'll lower our taxes, and then next thing you know, give us the money back to shut us up. The next thing you know, we wondering, like, why are they taking more out of my check this time? You know what I'm saying? So if they're trying to find some way to fuck us in the long run, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, a lot of people say the government, you know, not to be trusted, but, you know, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a big one right there. If I'm not seeing any benefit from it, I really don't care. You know, they've been taxing us. We don't know what the taxes is and shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what they're doing with the money. So, and then we gonna pay for motherfuckers to go in there and audit the government. You know what I'm saying? So anywhere it go, we just still gonna be fucked as people in this United States, if they call them America.
Well, no, because my brother Kamar always says solutions. And you know what solutions do? They make things better. That's what a solution does, right? So if we're gonna say, well, we need to be looking for solutions to complicated problems. If we don't necessarily understand all the nuances, I think it's counterproductive for us to throw our hands up and say, oh, well, they're going to do what they do anyways. Fuck it. We fucked for life. I feel like then you will never find a solution. Once again, you're going to miss 99% of the things that you ain't looking for. The 1% is the thing that falls directly in front of you. You say, oh, shit, there it is. So if you're not looking.
The first thing about making the right decision is remaining peaceful, remaining calm. You know what I mean? Because when you ain't remaining calm, you ain't breathing right. We talk about this all the time, about breathing and everything. If you ain't breathing right, you getting upset and everything, you ain't going to make the right decision. Because if your brain ain't getting the right oxygen, your IQ go down. You know what I mean? So that's why I say I ain't going to worry. I ain't saying I ain't worried about what's going on. I'm saying I ain't finna let it bother me about what's going on until something smack me in the face. But then now I got to figure out what to do to get around this obstacle. You know what I'm saying? But like my thing is just about staying calm, remaining calm so I can make the right decisions.
And I'm worried because I work with a lot of people who have challenges, black and white. And I'm here to tell anybody who don't understand that there's a lot of poor white people. There's just because they may live far out or they live in a suburb, or they live like you think, oh, this person live in Kenosha. They must got money. It's some po-ass white people in Kenosha.
Yeah.
I promise you.
A lot of yeah,
it's
you get
a lot of white people
that's living check to check. Too.
It's a lot of white people barely scraping to get by. And I work with poor black people. I work with poor white people, poor Latinos. And I'm concerned because I look at these people and I say, this is a struggle for everybody. If there's a civil war, it kind of disrupts my flow. It kind of fucks up some of the shit I like to do, like go see my son play a football game or be able to do a podcast every now and then, or just sit at my crib and chill and shit. Like, I don't want it to be a civil war. I want solutions. Once again, I thought that we stated very clearly during the election when the conversation about solutions came. We said unequivocally the only solution we had was to not vote for Trump. And 80% of us, that's what we chose. Black people, foundational. Well, I ain't gonna say all of them is foundational Black Americans, but however they classify us, we still overwhelmingly voted for the Democrats and Kamala Harris. I feel like we did our part. This goes all the way back to what Kamar was saying about sitting it out. When we say sit this one out, and a lot of people don't understand that sentiment, Kamar, when we say, hey, man, y'all gonna have to do this because we did what we were asked, which was not voting for him. Right. As a matter of fact, what we've been asked to do for a very long time is to support Democrats. Sometimes we got to look at that and say, how far has that actually gotten us? I think the biggest thing that we can do, the only thing that we've ever done that has shown any real consistent, steady progress was supporting ourselves. When we took it upon ourselves to do something amongst us, that's when things got done. Every time we waited on somebody else to come in and help us, it really never. And then if we allowed them to come in and implement programs to do or to help us, they end up taking over those programs and reaping most of the benefits because they make the most money to lead them. Right? So I'm not against a blow up of the government to a certain extent. But I just feel like it doesn't have to involve violating people's rights. It doesn't have to involve violating children. It doesn't have to involve supporting racists and known racists. Racism and white supremacy are the heart at the heart of Donald Trump's presidency. That is the biggest problem I, as a foundational Black American, have with it.
Agree.
You have no interest or regard for us. As a matter of fact, I wholeheartedly believe he doesn't really, he hasn't really come at us because I think we're very entertaining to him. He knows most of the rappers. He knows most of the actors. He, like Kamar said, he went to the football game. Look at those niggers run. Oh my God, they're just the best at wide receiver, and now they're playing quarterback too. So I think we're entertaining for him.
He also understands we're the biggest consumers.
That as well. Very clear.
Why would the biggest man want to get rid of his biggest consumers? Right?
Can't you just hear him now telling his guys, oh, let me tell you, you go into these communities, these people can't wait to give you their money. I never worry about the blacks. I never worry about them. They're going to spend their money. I build a casino, those son of a bitches will spend their last. Yeah, don't worry about them. I know. Yes.
Sad, but true.
Sad, very sad, but very true also. Now, our concern comes to, this is where our concern as Black people come from, because the white man ain't never fucked everybody else except us. He usually fucked with us eventually when he was fucking everybody else. But normally we got ours first. So it's just like this time we finally can say, whew, man, somebody else got to go first finally. But the delineation movement and being solution based and wanting to self-identify and get us together and create solidarity is something to me that we need to be doing to prepare for when it does come. So we won't be caught off guard like, oh my God, I can't believe Trump did this. It's like, hey, we knew this shit was coming. Right. Hey, y'all grab them boxes. Hey, pull that up to that window. Like, I feel like we should be ready to say, man, we knew this shit was coming. This ain't fading us. Unless you gonna send the troops out to say we finna put y'all in some camps or some shit. Then at that point, We already know what to do. Time to go. I mean, like I said, I'd be inconvenienced by it, but I'd understand the nature of the beast. Like, nah, y'all can't just do that. We ain't going for that. Hey, let me a disabled revolutionary unit, commandos and wheelchairs or something.
Hey, but for real though, Kev, you know what I'm saying? Like what you said was basically, like it was real shit. You know what my thing is this though, like everybody say, like we keep saying, he said what he was gonna do, and you didn't believe him. He sat up there and lied. Something he didn't know nothing about Project 2025. That motherfucker got on his something. That's a scare tactic. His name was in it though. That's just like we said Jesus and Jesus' name in the Bible. Oh, Jesus don't know nothing about the Bible. His name is in it. Trump's name was in Project 2025. You open it up, you read it, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it says Donald Trump, but it also says the next conservative administration, just in case he didn't win, but his name was in there, and he's going play by play.
Well, hold on, though. Once again, don't miss giving us our credit as Black people, because once again, we didn't vote for him. The people who he's on the ass of voted for him. You got a whole movement called Latinos for Trump.
Hey, Kev, and hey, look, and I said all that shit, Dion. Yeah, I said all that. But guess who I didn't vote for? I didn't vote for Trump. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I could say all that shit. I could say all that shit. I could say all that shit. The thing is, I didn't vote for Trump. I stayed on code. And I still feel like a lot of it's bullshit, because a lot of it can still get struck back down.
It's a process. There's some things, there's some resistance going on.
You know what I mean? I did what I was supposed to do. That was the solution we came up with back then, was to not vote for Trump.
Somebody make a footnote.
Well, here, hold on, Kev.
Put that slogan out there.
Because see, hold on, hey, Kev, let me say this too, right? Because see, we keep doubling back to this. Dion and Ewok keep mentioning about that shit about us saying, don't worry about that shit. Yeah.
No,
but we still
I ain't saying y'all.
And we still, hold on, Dion, and we still here delineating over that. But we all know we didn't vote for Trump. Like, let's stop finding shit to debate about with each other.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about America.
Right.
America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I be watching so much shit different. I be watching so many different with these white guys be going out, they be interviewing people, and they be like, well, what type of policies? They be talking about the people they had the MAGA hats on. They be like, well, what type of policies have Trump did so far that you like? And they just be, one guy was like, he kind of caught me off guard there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the man that did something that you like and you approve of, let it come off the top. It should be able to flow out your mouth like the river. You know what I'm saying?
He went after them goddamn transgenders. I love when he did that. He went after those damn transgenders. Yeah.
But now basically, they saying that the Democratic Party is real weak. Because I guess they was out of touch with people and shit. I don't see how the Democratic Party was out of touch, because I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican, but I do believe in policies. And even if some of the policies won't directly benefit me, I would like to see people, be able to get their small business loans and be able to buy their first home and be able to keep their medical insurance. And, one day, that I might need to buy, medical, you know what I'm saying, and getting it on a cheaper scale and things like that. And, when Joe Biden had passed it where banks weren't allowed to charge you so much money, for overdraft fees when you don't have the money in there. I was personally dealing with that myself. Landmark was charging me $30 every time somebody went in my account, and I didn't have the money in there to cover it. So if I don't have the money to pay them, what the fuck makes you think I got the money to pay you? And they just kept charging me them $30 and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that I seen that the Democrats was doing, you know what I'm saying, that was beneficial. And even if, like I said, if it wasn't directly beneficial towards me, it could be beneficial towards everybody. I mean, someone, and then if it's beneficial towards everyone, then it helps everyone out. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
the Democrats did let us down, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I blame Barack Obama because that was who they produced, right? I mean, and I'm saying they produced. This was their candidate. He won, and I feel like he was so watered down. And there's a lot of people who are still very apprehensive about his presidency because most of us feel like it didn't really move the needle for us like we had hoped. And so any other black man that they had that they could have presented as a candidate, I feel like we wouldn't have supported him or her. And so then what do we have? So we end up with Joe Biden. And then you offer us Kamala Harris. They had no viable candidate. And somebody disagreed with me when I said, I don't think she was the greatest candidate. And they say, why? And I'm like, I just didn't feel like she held enough. She didn't seem like a powerful legislator to me. She seemed like she would have been passive and that's what I feel like. I feel like Obama he's a symbol of being passive now. We don't look at him as a revolutionary. We don't look at him as a real radical dude. He was an affable, cool black dude who people liked if they wasn't racist. But we need an ass kicker as the president. It's
but
like
America is not ready for that, though.
Well, but you have to find a way to present it because that was the only way. Because the Republicans did that; they just gave you a white one. They gave you a white ass kicker, and white men identify with him like, hell yeah, we're gonna fucking vote for him. They have they got a passion for him.
The Democrats gonna have to bring out a white ass kicker, as you would say, because America's still deeply rootly in racism. You know, people just and it frustrates me. Like last night, and it bothers me. I go up in a store and Asian look at me like, oh God, like what? And it just pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? With these people, which is white people. And then whites always be like, well, everybody's not. I don't give a fuck if you're not like them. You white, so you fit in that category with them until you prove me otherwise. But they have tarnished what?
How many times I done told you, if you walk in a gas station owned by some people, I don't care if they black, white, Chinese, Arab, or whatever, if they look at you in a funny way and you feel uncomfortable, you should immediately turn around and walk out their establishment. Why would you? Why it doesn't matter. I'm not giving you the power to piss me off, and I'm not spending no money there either. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm so mad at these motherfuckers. I'm like, oh, I don't even like. You know what? I ain't fucking around in here. I've told my children. I've gone in an Arab store with my babies when they was young, and Daddy, get what you want. Get what you want. What you want, Kev Taylor? What you want? They got a bunch of shit. Candy, chips, whatever. They happy. Yeah. I get to the front. I see the way the Arab is dealing with people. If I didn't like it, I say, you know what? Hey, y'all put that back. Put that shit back. What you mean, Daddy? Put that back. We go somewhere else. And I walk out the store and get to the door and look back and be like, fuck you, man. And my kids be cracking up in the car like, Daddy, you crazy. Why you do that? I'd be like, because I didn't like how he was talking to them kids. And it ain't cool for us to spend money where we get treated like that.
Yeah, but he was a customer like me.
Okay.
So I just was pissed on how he looked at me.
Oh.
And it just made me think about how white people have did everything that they can do to tarnish a motherfucker's appearance or just have people looking at us like we don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm fucking human just like you is, you piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
I still think you're too sensitive. I think you're too sensitive to this shit.
I am,
unless you shouldn't be. Unless a motherfucker say something directly disrespectful or put their hands on you. What you say? Come on, you broke up.
No, I was just gonna say, you shouldn't be upset because you expecting it already. You know how they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you get mad at what you know? Like
he was an Asian though. He like, you ain't got no motherfucker right to look at me. They don't like you too, motherfucker.
Well, you should be smiling knowing that if he ain't got his papers right, his ass is gonna be up out of here. I would have been laughing. Like, you better hope your papers right while you looking at me funny.
That's the whole thing about everyone else. Everyone else is basically accepted to be assimilated to the white culture, except for black people. You know what I'm saying? Like the one lady, she was on there. She was talking about how Latinos marry white, and then sometimes they just go off and identify as white. Look at Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. I thought those were Spanish names. You know what I'm saying? But they have Cuban descendants in their background, but they're assimilated to white culture and are allowed to live like they're more than we are. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where the thing is with me. Everyone is allowed to portray who they are. To portray like they is like not who they are, and we the only ones that got to live with this stigma. And for people to look at us like shit, I'm getting out of it. What you say, Bull?
I was saying they getting deported now.
I don't believe we're the only ones who live with a stigma. There's
a lot of people all the people you talking about, the different races.
Well, I am too. That's what I'm saying. I'm responding to Dion's statement. I don't think we're the only ones who deal with the stigma. I think there's a lot of people who are racist towards Asians. There's a lot of people who are racist towards Latinos. I think everybody get a piece of it in this country. The irony of it is that it comes from white people who are really immigrants themselves. Let me get to chat room because it's building up and I don't want to get behind on it. Jermaine Anderson, who's down in Shreveport, Louisiana, he said 3 apartment complexes water has been shut off. Negligence, property owners in Shreveport, Louisiana. It's a lot going on down in Louisiana. I know he's been vocal about it over the months about how there's some injustices of people being illegally evicted. I'm going to have to look into some of the other stories. So Jermaine Anderson said, please share. Y'all see the comment, share it. Paris, Shay and Crummy says, peace outlaws from the Mile High Income and Deported City. Shout out to you and Shabaka. With Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, I'm not your enemy. He says she was a horrible candidate, and so was Osambo. I voted for him twice. I didn't think he was that horrible of a candidate. I was just disappointed after the fact. For me, it was they say hindsight is 2020. I thought he was, especially who was he running against the first time? He ran against, damn, I can't remember now. This is what was the old white man name? I can't remember. Can't remember who he ran against. But he had white people was in a fury. He's a terrorist. He's not even American. And I definitely thought he was a better candidate than either one of the people he ran against. Most definitely. And for what didn't he run against Hillary? No, he didn't run against Hillary, did he?
Bush. Wasn't it Bush?
Well, Bush. No, yeah, he ran against Bush, and then he ran against who? Hillary, right?
Hillary.
Didn't he? I thought he ran against Hillary. Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember.
Who?
Yeah,
Obama. Obama.
Hillary, I think.
He ran against what's the guy named? He passed away now. McCain, John McCain.
Okay. So he ran.
Yeah.
So Bush had 2 terms. So he ran. Okay, you're right. All right, you're right. But okay, so my whole point in that was I thought he was a good candidate at the time. I was disappointed after the fact. It's just like if we looked at who was running for mayor here in Milwaukee, Chevy Johnson was one, and then there was what's my man, the hippie, Bob Donovan, the greaser from the South Side. And so we was like, we sure don't want him. Now in hindsight, I'm like, but damn, that was a horrible choice. But when you got to choose between 2 different piles of shit, do you pick the yellow one or the brown one? Like, which one do you think is best? Like, how am I going to determine which pile of shit I'm going to pick? Like, that's a hard decision for a lot of people. And we can say all we want. We can say John McCain. We got his name. Thank you, Paris. John McCain. But like I said, we as Black people can, I think, basically earn the right to sit this out because we didn't vote for Trump. That's what the requirement was. That was our only solution, Kamar, was to not. That's the only choice we had. That was the only choice we had.
Right.
And whoever else you voted for, if you voted for Cornel West, if you voted for Shirley Murdoch, or I don't know.
That was a good one.
I meant to say Shirley Chisholm, but it came out Shirley Murdoch. If you vote, whoever you voted for, as long as it wasn't Trump, I was cool with that. Now, it just so happened that 80% of our votes, 80 plus, went towards the Democrats, went to Kamala. So nobody now can turn and look at us and say, see, this y'all fault.
Right.
The only person who could be mad at us would be Trump, but I think he even understands, well, you know, the blacks, they're gonna vote for the Democrats. They're there. I'll throw them a contest. Yeah, he knew that. So he ain't even hold no grudge for, you know. So I'm just saying we have to think about these things. It's important to hold leaders accountable. And I'm not like Dion because, like I said, man, I want to see my grandkids. I want to meet them. I want to hold them. I want to die like a mobster. I want to die in a big ass bed in my state somewhere with my family around me crying and shit. And I can just say, y'all be cool. And then I'm just gone. And then all the paperwork is in line. I don't want the city to get bombed out and civil war starting. It's like, goddamn, Kev, you're going to have to come home. I'm still trying to see his second season of college football. I want to be optimistic, Kamar. I want this country to last.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm also down as a foundational Black American to do what's needed, which is to identify myself as such. Meaning, I know who I am. I know the role we have played in this country. I know our position. I understand the consumer power that we hold in terms of buying power. I understand our ability to innovate. What I don't understand is our inability to gain any kind of solidarity. We are so fractured. If we could just eliminate some of the cracks in the mirror, like if we could just merge a couple of these groups that don't need to be divisive. It's almost like Kamar said, we got to come up with the Black Council, the Department of Cultural Efficiency. Maybe that's what we should call it, Kamar.
Right. Department of Cultural Efficiency.
Yes, sir. Right there.
Yeah, I like
there we
that.
go. There we go.
Yeah.
We exist to make our culture more efficient. And the first thing we got to do in that mission is to identify who we actually are and what our culture actually is. Because it's there.
Right.
Just allow any and everybody to play with it. They just say play in your face. Motherfucker, that's the motherfucker say, Busta Rhymes say hip hop was invented in Africa. If you don't get your ass up out of here. Fat Joe said Puerto Ricans invented that shit. How did Puerto Ricans invent some shit that the basis of it was old Black music, which they had no knowledge of? They didn't even speak English. How the fuck they invented?
I was just gonna say they wasn't even speaking English.
because of our inability to get together and really unite and stay on, as Kamar said, on code for years and years and years and years, and being accepted to any and everybody who wants to come in and share in it. Because let's be honest, our culture is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing to behold. And so we've always been very giving and saying, hey, y'all down, man. Well, you ain't had no ribs like these. Come on to the cookout. We've always been willing to do that instead of saying, you know what? Nah, we cool. This for us, man. I'm sorry, bro. I can't. You know, hey, you got a white friend? Hey, man, I want you to come over, man. We know your cousins are going to be there. I really can't even. Nah, man. You know, I mean, you know, if you got a white friend that you like that, then proceed. I'm just saying we need. Come on, what did we just say? This is cold right here. You're going to miss 99% of the things you're not looking for, right? So if you're not looking for positive, strong Black relationships, positive, strong Black interactions, ways to make our community efficient and effective, you're not going to find them. That's why most people live in the conditions, they live in the condition they live in, because they can't find a solution. And if you really talk to a lot of them, you figure out you're not really looking for one. Some people say it is what it is, man. I'm just trying to get this shit over with. And that has to change. That has to change. What is Paris saying in the chat room? He said, our problem is who refuse to get on code and has been for centuries since the plantations. Hold on. He said, our problem is those who I meant. Those who. So he said, our problem is those. Okay, I get what he's saying. Our problem is those who refuse to get on code and has been for centuries since the plantations, if not before time. Well, see, I don't even blame them, because I feel like the people on the plantation should have just did it anyway. The ones that did agree, the ones that wanted to delineate and say, hey, man, if you want to be with us and you identify with us, come on in. We ain't even worry about the motherfuckers that don't come. Because eventually there'll be strength in our unity. There might be some sacrifices we had to make. A lot of people wouldn't come in out of fear, because they knew that when the pressure was on, a lot of those people who were trying to, get together was going to fold. And it's usually somebody inside who's going to fold. You think about, we talk about the assassination of Chairman Fred Hampton, and you really discovered that there was a government informant who gave up the blueprint to his apartment. And that's how it had so much knowledge on even where the man slept at. It's a Black man, another Black man. who had some car theft. I think he might have had an underage girl mixed up in there too. Some charges, and they were able to do that with him. We're gonna find out something we didn't even really want to know about this Martin Luther King thing. If they're really gonna take all the redacted information off of these documents, we're gonna find out somebody who was in a chair that we gonna be like, what? It was that motherfucker all along, right? And so prepare for it. Knowledge is power, man, but it depends on what you do with it. Because you can get it, you can use your powers for good, or you can use them for bad. Keep that in mind, right? He says, well, we still have 80% still on the plantation, the Democratic plantation. I wouldn't put black people on no plantation, and I don't think there's a such thing as a Democratic plantation. I think people choose, rightfully so, who they want to vote for. And they have the right to do so. And I respect their decision. Like I respect the 80% of black people who voted Democratically as much as I respect the 20% who voted Republican. Because you have a right to choose. You have a right to choose who you want. And look at the people who did vote for Trump. They should be feeling pretty silly right now. Well, I don't know. There's a question mark there.
They not. They goof ass niggas ain't.
Only on his record on how he's treating humans. I don't know that a lot of the stuff he's doing in terms of dismantling this juggernaut that has been, and we haven't even asked enough questions where our tax money goes. We just don't ask enough questions. You think about all the people in this country who pay taxes. There shouldn't be a hungry mouth. If you can give Ukraine $8 billion, why do we have homeless people here?
That's a whole different thing, though, Kev. That's a whole different thing.
How? If you can allocate that money for that, then you just change the allocation and say, let's take care of home first.
Yeah, but Ukraine been in the books a long time since they tore down the Berlin Wall. You already know that. But my thing is this, though. I hear you talking about delineation.
Ukraine didn't turn down the East Germany.
Nigga, I ain't finna feed you before I feed myself.
No, the Ukrainians.
Hey, that's like saying I'm gonna feed you before I feed myself.
They have no.
When Ronald Reagan was in office and they tore down the Berlin Wall, and they knew that property was gonna get returned. The Soviet Union broke apart, and they knew those little places was gonna, like Warsaw, Georgia, and all those different places was gonna get turned over and be independent, democratically independent. The United States of America swore to protect those countries. And even though we directly can't go in there and put boots on the ground, but we help them with funding. And we help them with funding and with arms. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So this been in the making over 30 years ago. So if Putin would have never attacked Ukraine, that money been allocated for them a long time ago. This is like the money with the foreigners that came over here. So that's money that's allocated, and it only could be used for certain things.
Hold on, because I'm gonna tell you this. First of all, this makes no sense. We don't owe Russia a fucking thing. We don't owe the Ukraine a fucking thing because they tore down a wall in their own goddamn country in which they were persecuted. I do understand that there was a Cold War. I do understand the Berlin Wall splitting Germany between East Germany and West Germany. I understand that. And I do understand Glasnost. When Gorbachev came in with a whole kind of different policy for Russia because Russia was basically going belly up. And they opened it up to the Western world. We do understand that the whole division of it used to be called the USSR. And so that was basically conquered lands that Russia had taken control over and said, you're in the Soviet Union. They looked at it and said, we ain't even fucking Russian. We're Ukrainian. We don't owe those people a goddamn thing, especially since the Cold War ended a long time ago. Now, what that created is it's trying to make sure Putin doesn't have power because you want to support somebody who's going to keep it's like balancing the scales, right? It's just like the United States supporting Osama bin Laden before that. When you look at Russia fighting with Afghanistan. And the United States is supporting Afghanistan on the back end so that they can beat Russia, which they did. Okay? So I'm saying right now This is all bullshit. We shouldn't be, and you can say it's allocated. Well, it's time to change the allocation. How do you do that? You do that by going in there saying, cut that money off.
But even if the money gets cut off, it's not going to come back to us.
We don't know that yet. How do you know that? How do you know that right now and it just happened?
I truly believe that if the money gets cut off from Ukraine,
don't say we know that.
Okay, that's in my opinion. Okay. If they cut that money off from Ukraine tonight, they're not going to give it to us. If they cut all the funding off from Israel, they're not going to give it to us.
Then we should have a
American
problem.
People.
Then we should have a problem.
As far as American people, you know what I'm saying?
Then we should have a problem.
And then another reason, do you know how much aid and money that we help other countries with? And then we do that for allyship. And then sometimes we give them a little bit. And go take a lot out their country. Hold on, let me put you on mute real quick because I'm about to let this trailer down. I don't want you hearing all that shit.
Jesse says, I heard Trump might give 8K stimulus checks from all the money DOGE auditing when the Trump haters, what the Trump haters got to say about that. He said, what has Trump done to harm us? Well, this is what we were talking about in the show. If you listen, we said he hasn't done anything to harm us directly yet. I mean, people are saying that we're next. Latinos are saying, y'all keep laughing. We just got done talking about black people sitting this out, saying, hey, shit, so far he ain't called our number. When he does, or when it does affect us, then we'll be vocal about it. We'll talk about it. It's just like if the Democrats had won. As soon as they done something that was going to direct us effectively, well, I know at least on Outlaw Radio, we would have been very vocal about it. It would have been like, yo, this is what we talking about. He said, it's all speculation. I think they will give us that money, the American public. We'll see. We're going to see. We're going to see. You got to show and prove, baby. Right? Put it on the line.
They're not going to give us that money. They're not going to give us that money because you know what happened when they gave us all that COVID money? The value of the dollar went down. See,
inflation goes up, yeah.
The economy is only designed for so much.
Yes,
that's just like if everybody in the world was a millionaire, we don't produce nothing. So we have to export everything, even a goddamn loaf of bread. So a lot of this old fictional thinking that we be having is basically what it is, fictional thinking. This shit is designed, and it's a well-oiled machine, and it's been working like that forever. You understand what I'm saying? We can hope and hear all this and be like, well, they could find $1 trillion of wasteful spending. That money, guess what it's going to be? Well, the United States have a surplus of $1 trillion. Look, we still got a surplus in Madison from when they were sending us money. I think we got like $1 billion surplus in Madison. We ain't got no extra money sent to us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Dion, that's what
yes,
that's when we first started talking. And I said, maybe if we had some oversight, like the government efficiency in our state, then we wouldn't have had to crawl to Madison on our hands and knees to rescue us. Because like I said, we had a surplus. And they were bragging about it. So if you have a surplus, why do we have to have these draconian stipulations in place? Which is funny because if you actually look at it, even though, Dion, we have a Democratic governor, right? And a Democratic mayor, right? I'm right. Right? This is right. What did they do? What was one of the main conditions of us being able to get this revenue sharing? Getting rid of DEI.
Yeah, but that was Robin Voss
but this is
that said these are the conditions.
I'm just saying, under Democratic leadership, this thing was happening. And we on this show made noise about it, saying this is bullshit. Miss Beverly Williams, Mama Jenkins, a bunch of black people saying no. I told you all. I had a conversation with the county executive. He called me on the phone. Shout out to DC. And the first thing he said was, Kev, as the county, we didn't give up our right to fund DEA initiatives. Now, he hadn't done it yet. I don't know if he knew the federal boot was coming down the line. But the city did it. It wasn't even no threat. And this is under Democrats. We had a Democratic mayor who can say anything he wants about Trump now, but he is the one who ushered the agreement in. When they said we need this money, they said you got to get rid of DEI. He said, fuck DEI. And you say that personally. I'm paraphrasing. Right? I'm paraphrasing. So once again, both parties are the same. They're the same.
I don't think the Democrats wanted. They had to do that. They hands were tied.
Sounds like you're making an excuse.
If they needed the money, what else they were supposed to do though?
You know what he did?
If they needed the money.
You know what he did do, Dion? The Democratic mayor, you know what he did? He said, that's okay. Yeah, I hear y'all. We gonna sue their ass. That's what we gonna do. There's gonna be litigation about this. And everybody said, oh, okay. And then as soon as he got elected and it was in effect, he said, nah, we ain't gonna sue him. We was just bullshit. That's your Democratic mayor. You're saying you don't believe the Democrats wanted it. You had a Democratic mayor who patted himself on the back and a Democratic county executive, both black men, by the way, who patted themselves on the back and say, oh shit, that deal that we saved the county and the city. And then they said, wait a minute, it's a $19 million budget deficit for the county. Oh yeah, y'all. And we gonna add a little bit more to the property tax levy, and taxes went up some more. These are Democrats. So you got to be able to see the evil of both sides. I'm just saying they've done a lot of the same shit that Trump is doing now, just not to the effect of it fucking with their money, because they weren't billionaires necessarily.
Wait, hold on. They did, but they had to do that though.
They didn't. They did not have to accept the removal of DEI as a stipulation to getting the money. There was no resistance. Get the money then. Well, then we got to drag this out. It's a fight. See, you said, what do you say on the movie? Did you at least pinch the bitch? Come on, man. Fight back.
You stupid as hell.
I'm just saying.
I can agree with you on that.
Fight back. Show some resistance. Madison owes us an apology. Yeah, you got to understand what Scott Walker did to Milwaukee when he was governor.
Oh, man.
He used to punk our mayor. I used to laugh. I'm like, dude, he just walk in the office and just come to Milwaukee and walk down and slap the shit out of Baird and be like, sit your ass down. We had the housing crisis, and we had all this money allocated from the government to come in and say Milwaukee was deeply affected by the housing collapse, the housing crisis. Scott Walker said, y'all ain't getting that shit. We keeping that shit in Madison. And they kept it. This is your Democratic mayor, Barrett, tasting cheese and shit, sipping wine in Irish polka parades. Let me go to my chat room. Jesse says, he said, hold on, let me read the comments, Dion, then I'll let you go. He said, I'm listening. I just was late. They shadow banning you on the notifications. It's all good. Because replay is a motherfucker. Because after we do a show, and then especially now it's Wednesday, we ain't going to be back till Monday, I'm going to spam the shit out this show. So the numbers are still going to be good. People will receive the message. And Kamar and them, everybody trying to tell me I need to start going TikTok with Outlaw Radio. I got some tools. I got some things. I don't want to tell. I just want to do. Too much talking and not enough doing. You muted, Kamar.
Hey, it's easier to get paid off TikTok than it is any other platform, I feel like.
I ain't thinking about the money. I'm just thinking about the
hey, man, hey, it's got to come with it. Why not?
I mean, that's cool. But Kamar said shit and get paid. Like, that's cool. I like money. I mean, I like toys. I got accoutrements.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, this is where we headed. This is
out there.
Hey, this is where we headed. You know what I'm saying? We talking about being solution based. We talking about all these problems, all this shit that's going on. The number one solution that I could think of is get money.
That's right now. It appears that if our money holds value, because I feel like some of the things that Dion just talked about were important too. Hold on, let me get the chat room. He said the same can be said for reparations, but I still want my check. Mark Ross, how you doing, my brother? What's good, folks? I hadn't heard from you, Mark. I didn't know if you want to come back. Holler at me in the inbox. Let me know if you want to come back and when you want to come back. Jesse said defeated mentality is the reason we in a position collectively. And he said Dion's making excuses. Now, hold on, Dion, before you respond, I just want to say what he said was very true. Because if these tariffs and what you're doing in terms of the global economy drives inflation all the way up and they give me an $8,000 check, but the motherfucker ain't worth but $80, it's counterproductive, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if the value of the shit, like it was valuable and then you gave me a bunch of it when it ain't worth a damn. then it's like, oh, this was some bullshit. We should have just kept shit the way it was, right? But we don't know yet. That's the scariest part of this thing is we are in such a wait and see kind of posture. And it's just like, man, I gotta, I gotta wait and see.
Right. We was talking about inflation. And remember I was telling you about that immigrant video that I made that took off on Instagram, that everybody, all the racist Republican motherfuckers, they going in and shit. Well, one of the things, that was one of the points, was inflation. You know what I mean? I was trying to make. I was talking about, first off, them immigrants down there on the farms down south, like was talking about in Florida mainly when I was talking with the Mexican. You know what I'm saying? They was making like $2 and something cent an hour, right? Yeah, it's fucked up for them, but they illegal first off, you know what I mean? So that's what they got to go through. But if they wound up getting Americans to try to work them jobs, they have to pay them a lot more. And I feel like the inflation on our food was skyrocket at that point.
Yeah, because Americans,
you know what I mean? The farmers got to pay that money out. They're going to have to charge more money.
Yeah, because Americans going to need a union.
So
and a
that much more is how much our food will cost.
Americans going to need a union and they're going to need a benefit package, and we're going to need a cafeteria. Hey, the price of an orange will be $17.
Right. Hey, and then like a week after, about 2 weeks after I did that video, I saw another video with some farmers down there actually talking about how it was a problem for them. You know what I mean? They were saying they hired some Americans to work, but they don't work right. They back hurt. They want to take breaks throughout the day and shit. They quitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't nothing that they want to do. And that was another point that I was saying. Like, a lot of them immigrants is doing jobs that Americans didn't even want to do, or don't even want to do.
Everybody
know what I mean? Hell. But if they get rid of them and hire Americans, inflation gonna skyrocket at that point.
Everybody knows immigrants. Hell, the Chinese built the railroads because Americans didn't want to do that shit. It was grueling work. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's where the term cowboy comes from. Black men who took on those jobs with that cattle that white men didn't want. And that's why they called them cowboys. Right. Everybody knows the people, they do the work, they do the grunt work, right? You say, I'm gonna get an estimate on my roof. And you talk to some bonded white company and they be like, well, we're going to charge you for $17,000. And you talk to a Mexican dude who say, oh, give me $9,000. That's a horrible Mexican accent, by the way, but fuck them. They make fun of us too. And so you be like, shit, I thought these Mexicans on the South Side who gonna do this shit for $9,000. And they let me do payments. Come on, son. Like, that's what happens. That's what happens. Anybody who argued against you on that was a hypocrite. Because they know it. Because a lot of these people who are paid they have immigrant workers at their homes. When you get enough money, your lawn guy is a Mexican. And that's why I say your housekeeper is Mexican. So stop fronting.
Exactly. And the only people that had a problem with the post, like I said, was Trump supporters, racist motherfuckers. Because a lot of them had racial shit to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just really showed their ass on that. You know
Trump
what I mean?
And that goes racist no matter what.
Exactly.
No matter what,
you know what I mean? And I ain't get mad at none of them. You know what I mean? Because like I said, like, why get mad at what I know already? I know you ignorant. I know you stupid. You had a loss for words. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to answer questions, so all you know is what they told you to say. What
you can start talking about your favorite flavor of chewing gum, and a Trump supporter is gonna make it racist. Hey, goddamn niggers in their great bubble gum. They everything is racist to them. So
was it even watermelon, nigga?
Once again, that is probably my biggest issue with Trump is he's such a racist. And like all of the other stuff and what he stands for and who he polarizes are other racist white people. And so, yeah, it's like I said, it's his foot in their ass right now. But at the bottom line is we know he's an old racist white man. You know it. You know most of his guys are racist white people. Like, I'm going to keep quoting Kamar until this shit stop coming on. You can tell me whatever you want about Trump, good, bad, or indifferent. Just don't tell me he's not racist. I can accept anything. I'm not going to speak up while you're there until you say, but he ain't racist. I'm see, that's where you know you done fucked up, don't you? You know you done fucked up. He says, this is Paris saying, it's not that we don't want to do the job. We don't want to do slave labor. Wage theft is a serious issue in this country. We done enough slave labor to build this country. Right. So that's why immigrants are important. That's where they can play their role at. Like, okay, because I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I ain't picking no oranges unless I have to do so to survive. If everything is taken away from me and I can't thrive any other way, and they said the only thing you could do is get your ass out there on your cane and pick oranges, then I'd just be out there picking oranges. But as long as I have options, Kamara, I'm not picking no oranges. I'm not taking a job, because I do agree with him on, we understand the nature of not being compensated for hard ass work. If anybody understands that, it's foundational Black Americans. And I think that's where a lot of people get it twisted at when we start talking about delineation and the FBA movement, is they just kind of totally overlook all the work we put in. Because at one point, we were the Mexicans. Mexicans lived in Mexico, right? We were the Mexicans.
They getting paid something. Hey, only difference is they getting paid something.
And they can go back to Mexico.
We got paid
when the season over.
We got paid pig intestines. We got paid pig intestines.
It's not like we was exchange students. We couldn't get back on the boat after the cotton season and say, we going back to Africa, y'all. No, you ain't. You got some more shit to do over winter. Get your ass over there and chop some wood.
You know, and another one of the things that they used to saying a lot of too, you know what I mean? Like, wow, a Black guy and he's all for slave wages. You know what I mean? But my reply for that was slaves did get paid. Slave wages was free, motherfucker, and we was stolen.
Well, even during Jim Crow,
y'all chose to do that shit.
During the Jim Crow time, we were paid.
My thing is, exactly. Well, you know what I mean by the end, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying
we were
is,
underpaid.
my point is y'all chose.
Yeah, we were underpaid.
My thing is y'all chose to come do this. We were forced. Y'all were chosen. Y'all chose it.
Thought, speech, and action is what makes someone racist. Biden was racist, but the same energy isn't directed at him because the white-owned liberal me. Who says he?
Dude is confused.
Who says that he wasn't? People bombarded me. People just one night on this show, I thought we was gonna have a fight because we argued about the crime bill. Remember that? And Biden was one of the chief architects. Biden has made comments about it. He didn't want his kids going to school with animals, right? Biden has a horrible record when it comes to race relations. Nobody ever glanced over that fact here. Nobody ever said he wasn't. Nobody on this show, I believe I just showed that Democrats are racist as well. I don't know why there's this thing of me being programmed about, but because I call Trump out, that means I don't call out Democratic racists, which I do all the time.
Bernie Sanders supported the 94 crime bill too.
Okay, so then he's a racist. Now, if that's what you want to label him, my recollection of being in the community at that time was that it was a necessary evil. Just like the need for immigrants to perform that labor that Kamar's talking about is a necessary evil. If you want oranges to stay $5 a bag, unless you want to go in the stores, oranges $35. Well, you know they got a union now. They got a break room now. They got paid lunch breaks. Yeah, that drives the cost of things up, right? He said, Dion, you confused and refused to get off the Democratic plantation. Dion, I don't know if you off mute. But
no, you can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't know if you had, jumped back.
Yeah, I'm not gonna respond to that guy, man, because he all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck what he said about Joe Biden or whatever. We needed an alternative, and Kamala Harris was it, and it wasn't nobody else. And that's why, because ignorant shit like that, the stupid motherfuckers like that, that's why we dealing with the shit we dealing with now with this motherfucker in office. We don't know what tomorrow might bring with this silly motherfucker, and he gonna keep on saying, well, the Democrats, blah, 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 blah. Look what the fuck we got now. Cornel Weston, Like he didn't even get was a write-in. You know what I'm saying? So all that old stupid gumball ass shit he be talking, I don't even like when he be saying anything because the shit just don't make sense. Because we don't have a third option. And as you stated all the time, black people, majority of black people are programmed and indoctrinated to vote Democrat. Not all of them. We're not going to say all of them, but most of them are. So if we don't have another alternative where the black people can say, and see, that's what I be telling you about. We always talking about, well, we need to use our vote as a bargaining tool. Our population in the United States is not enough. It's still more white Democrats than it is black Democrats because their population outnumber ours. You understand what I'm saying? So we just go ahead and vote with, like you said, the less of the two evils.
Well, but even in that argument, where we always disagree is that the solution can't be not to do anything. With what you're saying, we can't win, y'all. So let's not play the game. I think that when we exercise our economic power, okay, and then this is where this really comes into us using our vote as a bargaining chip. Okay, we're gonna say, okay, not only are we not gonna vote for you, we're gonna stop spending our money when we don't get the candidates that we want. That's going to directly affect the economy, which will then draw some white people in, especially business owners, to say, well, hold on. We're gonna have to listen to some of these niggas. Some of these niggas, boy, they need to ride this bus because I own a bus company. Ain't that what happened in Alabama? Somebody said, wait a minute, goddamn it. Let these niggas sit at the front of the bus. I got a house. I got a mortgage I'm trying to pay for. Let me get the chat room before we go. 10 o'clock never creeped up on me so fast. It's 10 o'clock. What the fuck? Where did the time go, y'all? Y'all share the show, man. Share the show. Let me see. I was about 15 minutes late, so I guess we got some overage that we can do. He's saying Biden passed. I don't want to talk about Biden. I don't want it to. Biden's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's not even in office. So I'm very centered. You protecting all over the place. You stupid and ignorant. Clearly you don't know what the hell you talking about. Damn. You a whole goofy old nigga scratching my damn head. Damn. What the fuck? He said, don't believe the hype. Dion is all hype. He said, don't believe hype. The hype. All Dion is a hype. Damn. Paris, you chose violence?
A bum.
He's a bum. He chose violence today, Kamar. I thought we was working on breathing. Said defeated mentality, just like I said. Holy shit. Lord have mercy. Whew. Cracks in the mirror, Kamar. This is what I'm talking about. Because I think all of us want what's best for our people.
I got a thing, right? Hey, hold on once. Let me say something once, man. Like, how can we be pro-black if we banging on each other? How can you be for black people if you banging on black people? That's all I got to say. Go ahead, Kev.
Well, no, especially we arguing over a white dude.
Right. You know what I'm saying? How can you be pro-black? And I ain't sitting that ain't no shot or nothing. I'm just talking about, like, you know, we got activists that be in the community and shit be coming up and like, hold on, man, we ain't know that about him. Like, how can you really be this type of motherfucker if you ain't really that type of motherfucker? You know what I mean? If you pro-black or not. Because if you pro-black, you don't want to see no harm come to no other brother. You ain't finna be shitting on no other brother. You know what I mean? You only finna be lifting other brothers if you pro-black, if you really for the community. Like, we don't bang on each other, man. What kind of shit is this?
I think
I disagree with that because everybody is black. I'm not riding with everybody that's black. I learned that. Like, fuck that. If that nigga got a different
I ain't say riding with him. I said shitting on him, clowning him. We ain't got to do that to each other. You ain't got to fuck. You can just not fuck with somebody. You don't have to disrespect them.
Yeah, that's true. But dude be always like, he always like trying to, he always coming on here with stupid ass shit. Like, what, like, who, like, regardless if Biden was racist, he was the president. Biden ain't did nothing to me. He made an infrastructure bill that put billions and trillions of dollars out here to make our roadway. Maybe it was a small percentage of black people that got those contracts. Okay, the majority of them was white. He made health, what they call it, insulin and medication cheaper. Like, I'm talking about policies. I don't give a fuck about that other stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you, even if I don't benefit directly on a policy that a Democrat passed, I could go all the way back to goddamn Richard Nixon and further than that. The Republicans have not made no policies. The person that, and that motherfucker, whoever he is talking down there, he probably have benefited from a Democratic policy, whether he getting welfare, whether he sat on his ass and needed some health care, whether he got goddamn unemployment. We are talking about policies. I don't give a fuck about whether, what's his name, Biden or whoever, or Barack Obama was motherfucking racist or whatever. They made policies that all of us benefit from, and a Republican or goddamn, what's that lady name, Elizabeth Warren and Cornel West, they had no policies. They didn't even make it. Cornel West ain't even a fucking politician. He ain't worked in Congress. He ain't worked as a senator. He ain't did nothing. So he holds no legitimate weight out here. I don't care. I'm just concerned about policy. We already know that the Democrats, and then people will go back, wait, well, if the Democrats was the first ones to enslave you and the Republicans was this and that, you know, you have a stupid motherfucker say some shit like that. Well, we know that the Democratic Party was the Dixiecrats and what's his name? But the Dixiecrats had turned Republican way before that. You understand what I'm saying? But Richard Nixon had turned all the white Dixiecrats to Republicans. So the Republicans have we just keep on going back and forth with some shit. Well, Joe Biden is a racist. Bill Clinton was a racist, this, that, and other. But they made policies that people benefited from. That's all I'm saying. I know they racist. And there's some of them, you know what? People have so much money sometimes. Race ain't even, they don't even think about that shit. So I don't know personally if Joe Biden is racist because he voted for the 94 crime bill. That doesn't make him a racist. Kev always say it was something that needs to be done out here. It just so happens the fact that the black community was flooded with cocaine from Ronald Reagan, and then the 94 crime bill kicked in, and all of it. So it's a sad thing because I was a proponent from catching a case from the 94 crime bill where truth and sentence got kicked in. But hey, it is what it is. You play stupid games, you get fucked. It ain't like they kicked my door in and said, hey, we're going to put this crack on you. You're going to go to jail. Fuck the 94 crime bill. Like y'all always say, if you do the crime, pay the time. So, I mean, do the crime, fuck the time. You know, but dude just irritating though, Kamar. He always come on here and just make it seem like, oh, it's an alternative, this, that, and other. Kamala, she did this, and Kamala did that. But now your silly ass got Donald Trump up in there, and he gonna make shit hard for you. And then what you gonna sit back? Well, Kamala still, she did that and the other. While Trump kicking you all in the ass, taking your rights away from you, and he live in one of those states where you for sure the population of black is very small. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it be though, bro. I don't be banging on motherfuckers, but if a person is a Trump supporter, I definitely won't fuck with them. I wouldn't even piss in their face and tell them it was raining.
Okay, so I think the whole point was, and shout out to you because I wanted to, I put his comments up. I got to let you respond in kind. Here's my deal. I think we, and I know especially me, I went out of my way, probably about a year ago to say, I am no longer ever going to speak down on another black man. If I disagree with him, I disagree with him, but I'm not going to speak down on him. We used to do a segment on here called Coon of the Week. And I was so into this segment. I had theme music made up. Shout out to PV from Powerhouse. I had theme music made up. I would write this whole diatribe about who I felt like was the Coon of the Week and who was a sellout and this, that, and the third. And then I realized that I was putting energy in a place where it wasn't needed. Because I don't need to talk down on another black man. If he's flawed or if he is incorrect, it will be exposed. As they say, if his mathematics are off, he will be exposed, right? I do not believe in kicking anybody when they're down. Now, I will say, I felt like Biden was a racist more so about the comments he made about when we talk about school integration and black people didn't want his kids going with animals and all this. That kind of made me think that there was a main vein of racism in there. The crime bill, like we said, is a thing that we debate all the time. I look at the way it decimated Milwaukee, and I know that, there was black leaders at the time who really wanted and supported it. We feel like the refusal or the decision to not kind of check in and regulate it after a while got too crazy. So it led to even more inflated, disproportionate conviction rates for brothers over white people who were not convicted at the same clip for the same crimes, right? But I definitely think something had to happen to regulate our community. And it's just like I'm saying, our government had gotten to the point where it was just a really big fat chick sitting on a stool. And she used to be a dancer. And she had gotten to the point where she couldn't really move anymore. And all she did was eat. And she was getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And she was securing more snacks for herself. And so in order to change that, something had to happen. A necessary evil, if you will. Somebody had to come up in there and get big girl off the couch, right? That was my segue to Dank DeMoss. Listen, I've been watching Dank DeMoss's movement, y'all. Y'all know who Dank DeMoss is, right? That was my segue to Dank DeMoss. 500 pounds, rapper. I seen some women triggered by Dank DeMoss in the whole debate. I seen Erica Hunt, who's an outlaw, part of the Outlaw family, coming out saying, I'm a big girl, and so she was talking about the way brothers treat big girls, and it just turned into this whole debate. I seen Big Mike get in the chat. Anytime you see Big Mike get in the chat room, it's about to be smoke. And so I said, "Oh shit!" And I got Big Mike in the chat room. Some smoke, because Mike get at a motherfucker on Facebook and it's super articulate and super eloquent, and it just be like, and I know Mike, so when I'm reading his
comments, paragraphs.
Yeah, he got all the punctuation.
He got paragraphs spaced out and everything.
And I know him, so when I'm reading his comments, I can hear him saying it in my head.
And furthermore,
listen, brother, let me tell you something, brother. But I just, I think it comes down to, and for anybody, because I'm a big dude, right? Like I said, I think self-esteem is very important. And I think that, some of the things that some situations we find ourselves in, we put ourselves in those positions. If you don't want to be treated a certain way, right? Like, so if you have a weight problem and you know it, and you don't want to be ostracized, you feel uneven by the looks people give you. You feel uncomfortable when you look at yourself in the mirror. Like my personal litmus test is, if you can stand and look yourself in the mirror buck naked and say, okay, I'm cool with that, then you're all right. But if you can never stand there naked and look in the mirror and accept that, you're going to have some issues. But if you are in that position, then you need to start looking for ways to change things, right? So to lose weight, but to do it in a way that is healthy, right? Like, let me start a plan. Let me attack this. I'm not going to just sit here and just eat myself to death, right? So I feel like sometimes people who have certain situations, they deflect and blame others when they really should be turning that energy inwards and saying, hey, I need to be dealing with this too. Because I'm going to tell y'all for real, sometimes if I look and I say, you know what, my shirt's getting a little tight in the front, I'm going to have to lay off the hog head cheese and the pork rinds for a minute. That's what I'll do until I look in the mirror and say, yeah, I can fit this shirt again. I'm cool. It's just self-regulation. I can't blame nobody else. Like, why they looking at me funny? Oh, because you're like an acre wide. I mean, people are going to look. They're going to, if you're really tall, people stare at you. If you're really short, people stare at you. If you're really fat, people stare at you. If you're really skinny, people stare at you. If you're real muscle bound, Kamar, people stare at you. But it's not really about who stares at you. It's about if you can stare at yourself. That's what it comes down.
That's why the Chinese dude was staring at big old Dion, towering up over him.
I said, holy fuck, he's a big one.
Hey, hold on. This shit funny right here. They said the museum director's salary outrage. Her name is Dr. Marcelia Podedink. I don't know. In 2017, she made $146,000. In 2023, she had made $549,000. They said in nearly 6 years, her salary had tripled. See, that's what I'm saying. As you say, Kev, wasteful spending. So why the art museum director getting $500,000?
Well, you know what?
I can't make this shit up,
I
dog.
don't want to hate on their money. I'm saying, listen, what we got to look at is the art museum, the Calatrava, which is one of Milwaukee's main attractions, right? It's a selling point. And so you got to judge this museum by their art collection and what people are coming to see. Have you ever been to the art museum?
No, sir.
Okay, I've been to the art museum. I've taken kids on trips there and tours there. And when it comes to art, they have some very, very exclusive, expensive art, right? And people do come to see it. Now, I don't know how much revenue that actually generates. I'm probably, when I say I don't think it generates, that much money for her to make like the money you talking about. But you want a person who's qualified, who is, going to make this thing run like it should. Now, I'm sure they do make a lot of money because a lot of high-end functions are held there because you can rent out one of their rooms. As a matter of fact, I attended a couple of events down there thrown by some organizations, and I'm talking about all the stops was pulled out. Like when you start seeing the face of the money, Dion, and when I say the face of the money, I'm gonna say this. I don't want to go too long on this. I had gotten a job for V100, right? And it was in the summer. I wanted to be on the radio so bad, and this had to be 2003. And so I seen that they were hiring for account executives. It was Clear Channel Communications. And I went in there and I worked my way in. I said, I'm in there. I got hired. I gamed the general manager about how passionate I was because in my mind, I was going to be able to transition into the microphone. I was like, I'm going to start out doing sales, but I'm eventually going to get on that damn microphone. And I didn't. Which is why I left. But I actually took a leave of absence from MPS and said, let me see if I can do this. The first event that I went to was an event that was downtown across the street from the Calatrava. It's up on I forget what they call it, but there's a patio. You don't even know it if you drive by. You can see the expressway looking down from it. It's a park. And it was in this park. And bro, when I'm telling you, the owners of major corporations were there. I ain't talking about a black dude who owned 5 McDonald's. I'm talking about somebody who owned 65 McDonald's in 14 counties. Like these are the white people that were there. And so my supervisor, Norm, was taking me around, introducing me to people, saying, you know who that is? He's third in charge at Miller Coors. This person is the vice president of Harley. These are the ad execs for Marshall and Isley Banks. It's the first time I ever seen one of them frozen swans, the ice swans. That's when I knew this shit was real. Come on, it was summertime, and they had all this ice sculpture there. The food was crazy. I'm talking about, I'm like, dude, I took plates. I'm like, look, I'm taking some of this shit to the crib. My wife ain't gonna never believe this. My point is, I seen the money. And when they got to a point where they said, okay, we're going to do some donations, they had a charity. There were people giving $500,000 checks. Oh, the Harry Lynn and Bradley Foundation would like to do a $200,000 commitment to this. There was an art museum it was a house. It's an old historical designed by a famous architect. And they changed it into an art museum. It's right on the lakefront. It was some similar to that. And people were saying, we must preserve this. It's a foundation for this kind of thing. And we have old elderly people in there. People say, okay, we're going to give them $75,000. We're going to give them. And I'm sitting there like, I told Norm after, I said, dude, I know I just watched at least $4 million between all the fundraisers and the charities they had. I said, I know I just watched $4 million exchange hands. He said, yeah, you did. And that was just for charity. You know how many contracts we do with Clear Channel with all these people who advertise their businesses on our radio stations? Because Clear Channel was like 14 stations, including the country station. He said, we do $7 million in business through this function. This is our quarterly hit right here. It's going to make up the majority of our budget. I said, damn. So my point is, with something like the art museum, when it's big money involved and big time donors, that bread might be there. That was my, I know it was a long story. That was my point. Before I go, I want to touch on this because we didn't talk about this. There's some news that has come out for those of you who care, who are from my generation, that has implicated Reggie Wright Jr. as one of the orchestrators of the Tupac Shakur murder. You don't know who Reggie Wright Jr. is. He was the head of Death Row Security at the time Tupac Shakur was murdered. There has always been this back and forth thing. I'm in the Podverse. I watch a lot of stuff in the Podverse. And they talk about how Tupac had actually fired Reggie. And there's paperwork and faxes produced that shows that Tupac fired him, I think 3-4 days before his murder. There is the tale that Suge Knight actually had called after the fight. Suge Knight had requested that Reggie Wright send, I think, 6 more bodyguards or something like that, more security, seeing as how they were on high alert, and he didn't do it. And then there's a story that says somebody, somewhere, when Tupac was shot, they heard someone on the radio say, "We got him," or "They got him." And so for years, there's been accusations. Now, we know Keefe D, who's on trial right now because he is the guy who is a Southside Crip from Compton. He basically, and he was Orlando Anderson's uncle. He went on and told the cops that he was trying to, he got what they call a proffer agreement because they had caught him for heroin distribution. And he said that his nephew had done it and that he was in the car with 3 other individuals. Now, we know Orlando was murdered a couple years after Tupac, and I guess the other 2 individuals in the car had been deceased for a while as well. And so basically all this shit came back to haunt him. He is the first one that they made an example of about running on these goddamn podcasts, incriminating yourself. Vlad TV and all these platforms, you're going to go in there and talk about all this shit. And he wrote a book called Compton Legend, in which he detailed how they killed Tupac Shakur. He's on trial. Eventually, he was arrested. They made the move. They have him on trial for the murder of Tupac Shakur. His latest thing is his trial has been delayed because what he's saying now is that Reggie Wright Jr. was the orchestrator of this whole thing because he was mad that Tupac, well, there were some issues there anyways. There were some underlying issues there. You got to read this whole death row thing. And I know it's been 30 years, but people are still, it's a whole industry based on Tupac's murder. Tupac and Biggie. It's dudes right now who do thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. That's all they do for their job. And they get paid from posting this stuff because there's so many conspiracy theories. But Reggie Wright has long been, he's been allowed. He's in the Podverse. He's a big time podcaster. He has a big platform, Bomb First. He's always calling people out. He predicted that when and where Diddy would be arrested at, all this kind of stuff. And now it's come out and it's saying, hey, he is the person who, and you think about it, as tight as Death Row was, there had to be an inside man for him to just be randomly shot the way he was. And nobody, you in a whole, 15-car entourage? And these people get away scot-free. And there's supposedly people who had seen the shooters and had made testimonies and that they were always just kind of swept under the rug or dismissed. I think maybe there may be some truth to this. I might be wrong. He's an ex-Compton cop, right? He was involved and implicated. It's a whole history with him in the Compton Police Department. But have you heard anything about this, Kamar? And if so, what do you think about this? I don't know if you've even paid attention to it. I know you be working. You muted.
I hadn't heard about that yet. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I always kind of felt like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always kind of felt like that security guard had something to do with it. Could never pinpoint it, but I mean, I just felt like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought somehow, some way Puffy was more, and Puffy's name, he's been named in this case with Keefe D too, but the trial got delayed once Reggie Wright's name came up.
Well, I just feel like he has something to do with it too. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to pay people, man. More than one person gonna have to get paid or something like that, and the police got to be involved also.
It was so much money involved. I think, and people don't really understand now because time is kind of, past. But at that point, what was Suge? Well, Death Row was worth $100-something million. And here was Tupac, like, basically taking the company to the next level. Like, this was about to become a full-blown takeover, right? And this is what people miss who weren't alive when Tupac was alive. They never got to witness the energy. Tupac put a lot of energy in the universe when he was alive. Like, people really were polarized by this brother. Like, I mean, it was a certain point where Tupac could have said, hey, man, let's ride. Let's go. It's time to go. There was a lot of brothers who would have said, hey, I'm going. And sisters, right? His energy was ridiculous. We knew we was watching, at that time, a phenomena that it was like one of them once-in-a-generation type individuals. And so the money, the potential money here, people would, if somebody come to you and say, hey, man, if he's dead, he's going to sell more records. And then Suge is going to go to jail and you get to take over Death Row, because that's what ended up happening. He ends up basically running Death Row for a minute because Suge goes to prison. And so we don't know, because if somebody show you, hey, Kamar, here's $200 million. Just tell Kev to come outside. Like, I don't know. You might be like, hey, Kev, I mean, hey, come outside right quick. And I see you pull up like, damn, what's wrong with Kamar? Bow! Like, we have $200 million is $200 million. I'm just saying. You don't know we don't know. There has to be a conspiracy here. And I never believed that, because I kind of bought into, okay, he punched a dude he shouldn't have punched. He shouldn't have done whatever he did to that brother, because they knew. And the more you hear about it, this dude was a stone cold killer, and everybody knew. And somebody should say, oh, Tupac, oh, no. You the money. There's no way, even when you watch it, you got all these big blood dudes. There's no way somebody shouldn't have grabbed him.
Right.
Hey, man, get Tupac. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah. That's the bag. You got to protect the bag. You got to protect the bag.
Yes. Yes.
You got to protect the bag.
This dude just sold 3 million records in 6 months and got a whole other album on the way. That's $300 million generated from one dude. Yeah, he ain't got no business. As soon as he took off from that bar, somebody should have been personally appointed to saying,
whoa. They should have had a back route way out that motherfucker.
They took it after they stomped him out. They went out the back door.
Well, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like a back route before they even got to that point. Like, how do y'all even wind up crossing points with a bunch of motherfuckers like that? Like this, like I said, protect the bag. This nigga should have been hidden. Pac should have been hidden some motherfucking where.
Yeah, if the drama jumped off, if the drama jumped off, it should have been somebody assigned to say, "Hey, man, get Tupac out of here." They just they fighting. They're fighting, right? Like, so the fact when every time I watch that video, I say, "Damn, dog," because you see him walk away and start just he just runs up, and I'm like, somebody should have been there to stop that. Like, and then the way he's allegedly killed, we're riding in this big entourage in Vegas in the summer, or it's the fall, but it's hot in Vegas, and randomly somebody's able to just do you like it. People are that. I don't think it's like the JFK conspiracy. People will talk about this and investigate this for forever, right? So I think it's very crazy if it comes to pass that Reggie Rock. Of course, he's defending himself, just saying like, this is stupid. Y'all believe it if y'all want to. I ain't tripping. But that's what everybody said at first, until they be like, you got what? They said what? Oh shit! Hey, cut that camera off. It's like, oh. Dion, you hear anything about this? I don't know. You a little bit younger than me. I don't know if you was a Tupac, because you always big up a different era. I don't know if you was around or big enough when.
What? I'm 47 years old. You ain't that much older than me.
Damn.
You turned 50 in motherfucking November. I turned 48.
Okay, my bad.
On the real, hell yeah, I fuck with Pac, nigga. Him and Dolph is the only two entertainers that I cried when they died. But when Pac died, I felt like, cause death really, I never seen a celebrity die like that. And when Pac died, I was like, damn, anybody can die. I was, man, on the real, we was on some bullshit when Pac died. It was like we was gonna ride for Pac. You know what I'm saying? Any motherfucker, but hell yeah. I still fuck with Pac though, but I don't know, man. They just need to go on and let Pac rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? Him and Biggie, they just need to go and let them brothers rest in peace, man. You know, it was an unfortunate incident that happened. But you know, there's one thing I learned about death. You know, because I got a guy in the joint in Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Is doing life, and me and him talk every day. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I be talking about King Von and them niggas that died in Chicago. And sometimes we figure like death gonna happen regardless. But if you never put yourself in a situation, because like we just talk about how, you know, motherfuckers die in Chicago, they live a reckless life. But if you never put yourself in a situation for your ass to get killed or whatever, would you die? So that's kind of like, because I always think like, well, Pac nigga get killed, he had a death date. So he was going to die, whether it was from asphyxiation, choking to death, goddamn, he ran over by, you know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know though, you know what I'm saying, like that though. I just feel like they should let that man rest in peace. And
we don't have any other choice when it comes to, you know, I'm just saying in terms of finding out who did it. We that's why we watch murder mysteries on TV. We love a good who did
I watched them. I watched the first 48 every night.
See, we love that, and we want to know who did that shit and why, right? And you know, I don't know that we learn from history at all, but I think it's you benefit from knowing anything. Anytime you know more than you did yesterday, it's a benefit. We won't be back until next Monday. I am contemplating another day for the show. I just don't know what day to pick. We used to do a Saturday night show. I don't really want to get locked into Saturdays again because sometimes I would be out with my family, or of course I'm an empty nester now, but my son would have athletic events and I didn't want to do the show, or I felt like, you know, I would end up canceling. But I want to do something different on a different day. So I'm just really thinking about something else to add, because 2 days a week is, a lot of people say we should be doing more. So I'm on that thought train right now. Kamar, you got anything coming up this weekend? You muted, Kamar.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I don't got too much. Oh, I thought I unmuted it. I didn't.
You good now? Yeah, you good now.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say we got the blackout at the Sherman Phoenix Saturday. They also gonna have some dancers, some kids, some African dancers and stuff going on up there. So if anybody interested in anything like that, you know what I mean, come on up. Okay. But other than that, I'll be at the House of Vitality. Come boost your immune system.
Okay, Saturday and Sunday, or just Saturday?
This Saturday.
Okay.
From 11
Dion,
to
you
5.
on the road? You on the road? What you got popping?
Well, I started. Well, first of all, I ain't got it yet. So Friday, I go take my physical for the city of Milwaukee to work in the sanitation department. Whoopsie, you know what I'm saying? So I do that. That's Friday. I do that. And so I started, you know, I'm an independent contractor for Amazon. So I ain't did my first run yet. So I'm going to do that Saturday to see if I like it, see if I can make a cut, see if I can do 2 runs, like start at like maybe 8 and I'm going to wake up at 7 because you got to be there to get your packages at certain times. So maybe do like a 9 to maybe 1 block and see if I can do like a 2 to 5 and then jump on the highway, go down there with the gals, spend the weekend in Chicago. Because next weekend we might not see each other because I'm going to motherfucking Memphis to go see Ali Sadiq. You know who Ali Sadiq is, right?
Yeah, I've been listening to him. You know, he tell a lot of jail stories. The shit is funny.
Yeah, I'm going to Memphis to go see Ali Sadiq. Okay. I'm going there. I leave on the 6th. I'm gonna leave on the 6th and be down there to the 10th that Monday. So yeah, I got, you know, I think this is probably gonna be it for me traveling so far because I started a new job. You know what I'm saying, with the city of Milwaukee, hopefully, to be doing the trash and shit. So I'm going to have to let my school job go, which I'm going to hate that. But, you know, I'm seeking I keep this job and just only do my Oshkosh run. So when I get off from the city of Milwaukee, come here, take the trailer up to Oshkosh, swap it out, boom, go home, go to sleep, So
You trying
I'm
to
gonna
get
see
all
how
the
I like it.
goddamn money. That's why you don't want no stimulus check. You about to have all the
Oh,
goddamn money. Look
man,
at
you need, but you know, though, Kev, listen, I'm the listen. I'm the captain of the show. You know what I'm saying? So I use Section 8 housing, you know, affordable housing to get up on my feet. I purchased the house in 2019. I'm the only. That's my house, not my girl house, nobody else's house. I paid the mortgage, the down payment, so I got a mortgage to pay by myself, a water bill by myself, light bill, car note, insurance on the cars, Wi-Fi, all the, take care of my dogs, take vacations, buy shoes, buy toilet tissue, put food. I do all that alone by myself. Big flex. Ain't no bitch living with me. You understand what I'm saying? No woman. Me, myself, and my 2 dogs. I do this. So I got to get out here and get this money. You feel what I'm saying? So I got to get out here and get this money. Yeah, real nigga shit. Real outlaw here. I ain't no bum ass nigga living on no bitch. Yeah, sucker ass niggas.
Okay. Listen, y'all keep your head on the swivel. Please be safe. Stay aware.
Love, bro.
Stay aware. If you're traveling, I think it's supposed to warm up this weekend. If you decide you want to get out, I know a lot of people, a lot of times especially up here, we're in the house and we get cabin fever. So any opportunity to get out, you want to take it. I'm just saying, be careful. But in the grand scheme of things, start to really give more thought to what we as Black people, foundational Black Americans, need to do. Really give some thought. Just don't even think about FBA. Just think about the word delineation. I just ask that everybody look that word up. Look it up and then look at it and say, could this benefit Black people? I think the answer you're going to overwhelmingly come up with is yes. The argument of whether or not this president is going to really come at us is still a lot to be seen. We don't know. We've seen him come at other people. I just look at everything like I'm a glass half full type of dude, where everybody else is screaming the sky is falling. Sometimes I'm just saying, well, hold on, let me see what exactly falling from the sky before I panic. And I think that's what we say when we say, well, we don't worry and don't panic, but that doesn't mean don't be prepared, right? And in order to really counteract something, you got to not panic under pressure, right? A lot of people think I can fight and I'm tough. Well, in order to really be tough and to be a good fighter, you got to be the type of individual that doesn't panic and is not crippled by fear. You got to be prepared to do so. Hey, I just want to say to all y'all, man, be strong. Keep your perseverance. Keep your head up. And it's called self-esteem for a reason. Self-esteem, self-control, self-love. See all the different ways you can use self, right? But within all of that, and beside all of that, be a person of action. Stop talking so goddamn much and not doing a damn thing. Because if your contribution to our community is outweighed by your criticism of our community, you're counterproductive, and you're also a coon. There were several C words used in a row. Peace and love, y'all. I see you Outlaws Monday,
sir.
man. Y'all share this show, man. Share this show, man. Shout out to Dion. Shout
All
out
right,
to
yeah.
Ewok. Shout out to Kumar in the House of Vitality, baby.